What's up, guys? Welcome to SpawnCast episode, Evan, 39?
Yep, 39.
39. Here we go. Episode 39. I had actually a couple people here tonight, surprisingly. We missed people last week, but we have got Max here.
Hello, hello.
The standard Dreamcast guy, as per usual, is here. Like I said, you're kind of upgraded to co-host status anyway, so you're up there at
exactly. When I miss, I get in trouble, so I got to be here all I can.
You're kind of like the co-pilot spot here.
Exactly.
And then we also have Evan. Of course, I'm just going to go on my little chart here. We got Evan here as well, per usual. Checking the comments. He threw something up in the Discord as well, right, Evan? We're going to take questions through there as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the question section's always up. I just marked it off for today. And anyone that posts below, I'll see what questions we don't answer just in casual talking.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So we have the Discord up for any of the patrons to ask questions. We got our guest tonight is OJ from PlayerEssence. How are you doing, OJ?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then of course we have Sean.
Yo.
So, known best for some of his rants lately.
I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. I guess
you got a good response for that from that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds one, man. People like that.
It did. I mean, it was true, I guess. So
yeah, I think that's the thing. People realize that it was true. So I mean, the WWE one was really good. People like that one, but people really like your PUBG one. I think you're saying what a lot of people were thinking. So
yeah.
So it worked out. It worked out well, I'd say. So let's see. What have you guys been playing this week? Actually, let's do that because I forgot to do that last week. We kind of glossed over it.
I've been playing Golf Story nonstop.
That game is legit, isn't it? I love that game, by the way. I really do.
It is. I do too. I think the only complaint I have is I feel like the developers didn't know how to make it harder. So I'm near the end of the game now, and every course is really difficult. But nothing like I feel like they don't innovate on the courses. They just put harder slopes and harder wind. So it
feels kind of like the Mario Golf Game Boy game, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But at least that felt more fair. This is weird where I feel like I love the writing. I love the story. I love the upgrade system. I think all that's genius. My only complaint is towards the end of the game, it starts just being like every hill is literally like you're on a narrow cliff that's literally like 6 pixels wide and it's a giant snake. And if you just putt it too hard, you might as well just kill yourself right then. It's like, oh,
I think when they got to the end, they were trying to finish it because there weren't that many people. There were like 2 people working on it or something.
Yeah, 2 dudes.
Yeah, see, I think if they do a sequel and they have a larger team just to kind of work with them, they could probably get something really cool done. I mean, maybe the same art style and everything, but they could. I'm sure they get a little more in depth with it after. I'm sure this one made a ton of money. So
just hire like 2 more people. Just hire like another animator, another like graphic designer, and you'll be good.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are probably lining up. From what I heard, that thing got crazy. So many people were making fan art of it. So many people were making fan songs for levels and stuff. I'm sure they have like an inbox exploding with applications.
Dude, I mean, golf games that don't take themselves seriously and kind of run like the old Mario golf games. I really like those games. I think they're actually more popular than people think they are because everybody downloaded. I think everyone on the Switch almost downloaded that thing. So I was very happy to see that do well. If you remember, leading up to it, I was like searching and trying to figure out when it was coming out, and I brought it up every time whenever Evan and I talked about indie games. So very happy it did well because the Switch is like the indie machine now. But we'll get to that in a bit. Robert Erickson's back with the 26 in the chat. How you doing, Robert? Good to see you tonight. Looks like I actually got a bunch of people hit very quickly here. Make sure you guys are actually no, you know what? We can't afford that. I can't have you guys hitting the like button because we might get into trending. And that would just be. Can you imagine us talking, being on the trending for the YouTube gaming stuff? That'd be really bad.
We don't have boobs.
Yeah, that's kind of actually,
And we're also not on Twitch, so or at least maybe we're not on Twitch. So.
No, we're not on Twitch. Evan and I have been working on that, trying to figure that out, right, Evan, to kind of dual stream
Bits and pieces, yeah.
We'll get it figured out because I know there are people who send messages that are like, "I'd rather watch you guys on Twitch." We'll get that worked out. I
can talk to you guys about that. I dual cast everything, so
there's like Restream that I look at and stuff, but dude, my internet is so.
Terrible. Yeah, we tried to do it both from your one computer, and it just shut down. It was
Comcast, dude. I called Comcast this morning. I called them, and they were like, "Nah, you got the best we can offer," and it is like junk. It is so bad. So they need to get this thing upgraded because like 3 miles from my house, you can get a gig up and a gig down for like $200. And I would have had that instantly.
They are like screwing people over. That is that's so expensive. Even for That's ridiculous. But
well, yeah, but there's competition over there. But there's Verizon. In my neighborhood, it's just Comcast. So I don't think they have any. They don't feel like they need to do any upgrades here.
Yeah, but like a gig up and a gig up and a gig down for 200.
Yeah,
that's absolutely ridiculous. That's like screwing people hardcore. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's better than what I pay. I think right now I pay for cable and that it's like $150, and I get 100 down and 10 up.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm lucky to get 10 up. Usually get about 6 up, 7 up at the most. Mm-hmm.
I have
delicious 7 up.
Yeah,
I have to pay. I have Comcast, and the same thing here. I'm in a huge neighborhood, and it's really nice, and it's only Comcast. And I feel like every time I go on a walk in this neighborhood, I see a Comcast truck coming or going because it's their turf. They just basically drive through like, you bitches still paying up. All right, let me pretend to fix this thing, and then they just drive away.
Right. I've seriously at one point I thought about moving just for better internet because it's to that point. Like you guys never see me really stream, and I would like to stream more, but it is like impossible for me to stream well. Yeah. It's a problem. So I'm like, I don't even try to stream much. Like this is the most we do for streaming because of that.
Yeah, you might need to at some point.
Yeah, I don't know.
An office would settle that. It'd be
an office, fine. Yes, I know. Guy just got to go about 5 miles that way, have like fiber optics and everything for like. I think Verizon has like their introductory package is like $60 a month, and you get like 250 up and 250 down or something.
That's good.
I'm like that's enough to stream whatever I want. So
yeah.
I'll get there. We'll get there someday. I would like Comcast to just make this better here, but I don't know. They apparently say by 2019 they'll have their gig speed like in all of their markets. So we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Yeah, apparently. So yeah, Sean, you hopefully you found a good spot for internet. You said you did.
Yeah.
So let me before I actually go a little further. Sean had his announcement. Was that today? You put that up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you want to tell anyone here what's happening?
No. You need to subscribe to my channel to get the details. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, so I'm leaving my day job. I'm moving from North Carolina, and I'm moving back up north to Delaware, and I'm going to do YouTube and other gaming related things full time in February.
You're actually moving about 20 minutes from me and Evan, so you're very close, which is awesome.
I'm going to be doing a business trip, or I'm doing a trip up to that area in February. So maybe.
Yeah, Katsucon.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we'll all meet up, and I want to film a video with all of y'all. I want to do a video with all of y'all I can. I would love to do like a sit-down series of interviews because I feel like we talk on the podcast, but I would love to kind of interview each of you guys one by one just for fun.
Well, what room are you running, and would it be easier with 2 other people dropping money in it?
It's already a very big room, and it's already packed with cosplayers. I'm going all my cosplay friends. So they all have like 5 costumes, and it's going to be people constantly like changing clothes. So can't really pack anybody else.
I already told them we'd probably take a trip up there anyway. Down there, it's past Washington D.C. So it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. But we'll go to everyone else go to CatsCon. I guess we'll do that. Yes, big guy. I already go look at my video. I already talked about Spans. They still have not delivered, by the way. I know. They're not going to. I'm going to tell you that now. By the way, in the past 10 days, $1,100 has been added to that Indiegogo, so people keep buying into it. By the way,
that's ridiculous.
Yes, I think it's because a lot of videos are still kind of floating around out there from like places like Digital Foundry and stuff like that review it but didn't update it. So people are buying in and they're like, "What did I just buy into?" And it's too late.
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes. It's Indiegogo should have shut it down by now, but they haven't. It's more Indiegogo's fault than anything else at this point. They should shut it down, but they won't because it's money. They got how much does Indiegogo get, by the way, when that happens? I was thinking about that for Atari Box also, trying to figure out what kind of discount they could even give people. I feel like they probably, what do they take, like 20% or something? They have to take a lot.
I thought it was less than that. I thought it was like 8 or 12, but it's enough that they make millions of dollars at the end. So,
okay, gotcha. OJ, what have you been playing, man? What have you been playing this week?
I just picked up this one right here, Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age.
Yeah, nice.
The reversible cover is worth it by itself. I paid $11 for this game, so it's pretty good. Just started out, so that's fun. I got back into Persona 5 just a little bit, so I've been playing a little bit of that, and I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles like crazy whenever I can. Not even like crazy. Fun, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I've been playing Final Fantasy, Persona 5, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I still need to review that game. Nobody tell Nintendo. Nobody tell them.
I think they're gone. They haven't emailed me at all. Typically, I get like an email every week from them, and I haven't. So I think they're all out of office. They don't know that you're breaking all the rules.
Oh, good. Good.
You don't have to put up a review. You just got to put up just a video.
Yeah, I know. I got to put up a video. I mean, I think I'm like 50 something hours in, and I was like, I want to play a lot of this, but they're like, 2 weeks. I'm like, oh god, okay, here we go. But that game, dude, that game is like my problem is I keep doing things other than the main quest.
Yeah,
I keep going that way.
That's what
Skyrim effect.
That's what I like most about it. I've been going back in that game a bunch lately, and I feel like the game definitely shines the brightest when it's just kind of like, let's see if there's a quest involving this mountain. Okay, can we climb it? Okay, let's go do that. Instead of just being like, now go to this new town and solve this new robot problem.
Yeah, it's seriously. I keep and then you keep doing the random roulette system thing, and they won't let me buy stuff with my credit card. So I had to take like 4 points off because I can't do it.
It's awful.
Can't bust out the money for the rare blades.
What's amazing is it's so obvious they could have, but they didn't. So I like that they didn't, by the way. But
I just think it would have just been a bad idea because it's not very a super popular game to begin with. Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, so I just don't think, and like I think that goes against like Takahashi, like the way that he grew up with games. He just. I think there's
some honor. I think there's some sense of honor there. I will say that. It sounds crazy. I do think there is a little bit there.
A little bit.
OJ, were you the one? I thought it was you who was tweeting. Somebody was tweeting a couple of mornings ago that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has already outsold the previous two combined or separately, something like that.
In Japan, it's outsold the lifetime sales in Japan.
Did it cross? It crossed 100,000, didn't it?
Yeah, it crossed. Yeah. It almost got there. Well, Famitsu had it, I think, at 100,000 because they do digital sales and all that. And then in the Media Crate, it was almost at 100,000.
I get confused about that because sometimes it's really weird. Media Crate will actually report higher numbers than Famitsu at times, and it's like it's so confusing sometimes when that happens.
Yeah, most of the time, Famitsu's above it because they do download. But yeah, there are some times where it's below it, but like
weird sometimes.
This past week, it was pretty big discrepancy between like the system sales, like Media Create and
Famitsu. I saw that it was like 50,000-60,000 or something like that, wasn't it? Difference
30, 30,000 and some change.
Yeah, because they reported like 300,000, and then Media Create's reported like 260,000 or something like that, right?
Yeah, about 269,000 for Media Create and 303,000 for Famitsu.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's the sales are big. We'll talk about that too because we're going to look at all of our. So we're going to take a quick look back at 2017 just for fun because it's interesting what happened when we first started 2017 to now. So I think that'll be fun. And let's Sean, what have you been playing this week, man?
I don't even really know. What the hell have I been playing? I did. I played a bunch of the multi-carts from Retrobit. Because I did a video on those.
I saw those. Yeah, did you open them up?
No, I don't open things up.
Come on, man. I would have opened it before I even played it. That's why they don't send me things. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so I did that. What else did I play? I don't think I've really been playing anything for review. Oh, I've been playing Ukulele of all things.
Yeah, how you like that anyway? I've played quite a bit of it, and I like it for what it is, but I understand there are some flaws. What do you think of it though?
It's not bad. Like I think it's pretty fun for what it is. Like I think
it appeals to people like you and me who Carl Rocco dropped 100 in the super chat.
Whoa, Carl, paying that rent.
What's up, Carl?
Carl, remember what I was talking about before we went on air?
Yeah,
it's Carl.
Carl, you're dropping $100 in there, man.
The cash around.
You didn't even put a message in there, dude.
The last time my users dropped $100, I started crying like a little baby. So good job for you not crying.
Carl, what are you doing, man?
I've never got a donation over 20, I don't think.
My gosh, yeah, I think that's the most I've ever had for a donation is $100.
I mean, outside of the sex bracket.
Carl, what is it? He didn't put a message, man. Wait, that was he was in your stream too?
Yeah, he's in my stream last night. He's starting up a channel and stuff, and he's very, very, very gracious in my stream last night.
Well, check out Carl Rocco here. How about I drop the? Let me drop it in here. I'll drop the channel link for him in there, man. Go check him out.
Drop this man a shout out.
Yeah, Carl Rocco, thank you so much for the $100, man. And he's also up there as well, I believe, at the top there. So check him out and check out his content and everything. Looks like he has a couple uploads here.
My dude, message me on Twitter, man. That's nice of you to drop him $100. Message me on Twitter, and I'll give you a shout out for your videos too, dude, or retweet. That's really nice of you to do that.
Unboxing Japanese imports, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Yeah, you have a couple uploads here. Looks like you're just getting started. You have 45 subs now, but I think we can push him up some, right, guys? Let's push him up a little bit. He's at 45 now. Let's jump up to 100 real quick. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let me get a link to his channel too.
Yeah.
I got him on Twitter as well. I'll put his Twitter in the chat.
Yeah, hit him there, man. He was pretty. I was gonna say, you were talking about I think Carl, I guess, in your stream yesterday. So
hitting the immediate unlock number.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool. Thank you, Carl. We appreciate it.
He's basically telling you to get better internet. That's what he's doing right now.
Exactly.
It's like, dude,
I need Comcast to give better internet.
Get that internet fund. Maybe we get enough money, we can overthrow Comcast. Maybe that's what we should do.
Get enough money. Maybe I can run like a fiber line to a little box out here myself. There's Robert Erickson dropping 100 secs also, saying he has some competition in the super chat.
It's true.
100 secs. Here you go. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Because I was 100. Yep, 100 secs. It's still my favorite currency, by the way. Is the secs. I kind of wish I lived there just for that. I'd probably have too much fun all day. But again, thank you, Carl. Oh, look, you jumped to 82 subs. So look at the people supporting you there. Tell you what, I'll sub to you as well. So there you go. You're up a little bit more. So
there you go. I got you.
Thanks,
as well, Carl.
Thank you once again. But Sean, you were talking about ukulele.
Yep.
So let's jump back into that. I'll also put you up on Carl. Also drop you on Twitter as well, man. So I'll do that actually now.
So I have a question. So I haven't played ukulele since launch, but at launch I 100% of the game, got every pagey, beat every world, etc. And one of my biggest complaints is it felt like there was a delay to jumping. Like a lot of people had problems with the camera. That didn't bother me. I do a lot of retro gaming. I'm used to clunky cameras. But a lot of times, especially the bigger power jump, you had to go onto your ass and then launch. All that felt so sluggish. I heard they patched it. Does that sound familiar at all, or have you been has it just been totally fine now?
I had it on the PS4, and you're talking about kind of the way he jumped. Like you said, it was kind of like delayed a little bit.
It felt really slow. It almost felt like you'd press the button, and there would literally be a solid like fifth of a second before you're like, what?
I haven't done anything like tests or anything, so I wish I could tell you like exactly. I did notice when I'm playing it on the Switch, though, it feels more fluid, if that makes sense. Although I will say the Joy-Cons have kind of a tactile feel when you click it. So I don't know if that versus something like with the PS4 controller has a different effect, since that uses more of like the membrane type. Although when I played it with a Pro controller, it didn't feel as weird. I'd have to go. You know what? I'd probably have to go back and play it on the PS4 a bit. It works so well on the Switch because obviously I don't have to play it on my TV. A game like that where it feels more like a retro style game just works really well on the Switch. Like games like that and indie games just work perfectly on it. Well,
my Switch has become such a 30-minute device. A lot of times, like I pick it up and do like a couple holes on Golf Story, or I do like 4 or 5 rounds of Doom. And I'm thinking about getting ukulele again, as long as it functions, just so it can be my like, okay, get a couple pages and leave kind of thing.
I think it's pretty smooth. I've had, I expected the game to be a lot worse than it was. I mean, I was very against not getting it, but in my last What's in the Box, a big ukulele fan sent me $40 in eShop cards. I was like, buy the damn game. I was like, okay. You forced me here, but
you gotta do it if that happens,
right? You can't say no.
Yeah, you can't.
But yeah, like I expected it to be a lot worse than it was, and have maybe some issues on the Switch, because I remember it was running at a lower resolution. I expected the Vaseline screen, even though Spawn said it didn't have it.
Yeah, it did,
and it looks great in portable mode. It runs great. I enjoy it. I think it's super fun.
I think the Vaseline mode seems to be something that they do with Unreal. I think that's like one of the quick ways that they get it over, and then they kind of play with it after that. But Unity seems to treat the resolution on the handheld mode a little better from what I've seen here with ukulele. So it looks clean on the handheld. I gotta say, I was shocked when I was playing it, because like you're saying, Sean, I was expecting it to look at least a little blurry, but it almost looks like clean like it does on the TV. So I don't know. I was happy with it. Did you play it, Max, on the Switch at all?
No, I haven't even tried it. I watched Game Explain did one of those things where they put up like 45 minutes of the game with no commentary, and I clicked around, and graphically it looked fine. All my concerns were just with the controls, because I had no problems with the art and graphics on PS4, and I expected it to be a pretty clean port. I was just worried about like some of those pages which require like lots of jumping or like absorbing a power and like running up a ramp before it runs out and stuff like that. I was afraid of like, man, I do not want to deal with those delays.
Have you tried playing it since then again? Because I know they updated it some in August, October. They did update the PS4 and the Xbox One version as well with the PC version. So if you turn your PS4 version back on, it might actually give you an update and fix some of those issues.
I might do that. I was just curious, because since I already 100%ed it, I was definitely not going to go back through it again on PS4. But I was kind of, if I heard it was fixed, I was thinking about just buying it again on Switch to support them correcting their mess.
Yeah, it seems like they spent, but I mean, it also took Unity, Nintendo, and them to get it all done. But it might help with people who want to use Unity, indie developers who go or down the road are like, maybe we'll try using this newer version of Unity that Rare or not Rare. I'm sorry. That's how much it felt like. Banjo-Kazooie, Platonic. We'll do that because they figured it out for us essentially. Almost like how the people are all following Unreal Engine with the Switch because people before them have figured it out. So we'll see how that goes. So Evan, what have you been playing, man?
I've been taking a look back, I guess, through games because you guys started talking for a little bit there about Payday 2 coming to the Switch with like the full amount of information in it. And
all right, so you are like an expert at Payday 2, right, Evan?
I've been playing it for a while now, specifically because I wanted to see the changes they made to it, and it is a pretty solid game, more so than I expected.
Has anyone else in here played Payday 2 a lot?
Like recently?
I've only played the first one ever. I've completely avoided the second one for whatever reason.
Real quick, Chad says it sounds like Nintendo Unity and Platonic optimized the game for the Switch. Good job. They absolutely did. I'd say it's probably one of the better running games on the Switch. Go ahead, Max.
I was going to say, I've tried to play Payday. I've probably tried to put 10 hours into Payday 2. But for some reason, the community, it's one of those games where I feel like it has a learning curve. You have to get like the proper items and handle missions the proper way. And I just, every group I've run into was so hostile and so mean. So I have not had a very good experience with it. I'm sure the game is great, but the community that I've ran into was awful.
I guess that's just a random thing, though. I haven't really run into any bad players other than people who feel so new that they kind of just stay in when you're supposed to leave, that kind of stuff.
So real quick, Evan, can you explain to the viewers, OJ, did you play Payday 2 at all before we
played it back on the PS3, like back in the back?
Oh, wow. Okay, gotcha. Can you explain very quickly, Evan, before we move on, how it's changed and what people can expect from, we hope to be mostly the full version on the Switch, because there's a lot of content they've been adding.
Well, yeah, they expanded kind of how the characters work in terms of their builds. Like they had that original system of like the skill trees, but now they have card decks that you can put points into and switch between. So you don't just have the skill build, but then you have like a secondary skill build to try to maximize what you want, being it like a tank or damage or stealth or stuff like that. The weapons still have their own customization, but they've even expanded it with like colors and all kinds of skins. They now have like their community store where they can sell that type of stuff, specifically on Steam. I don't know how they'd handle that on console. The missions themselves seem to have a bit better of a difficulty curve. I remember back when I started playing it, you turn that thing to like very hard and it was a problem at like any level. But it feels like it's a little bit better. And now they added a couple characters to it, specifically the medics since the last time I played, but then they also added the mutators. So you can actually add team damage. You can make dozers walk around with their shields out. They'll actually have shields on dozers, which is just ridiculous. You can make enemies explode, split into multiple enemies when you kill them. Just crazy things like that make the game, that takes it from that basic, what we know, to just this more expansive universe of that kind of horde mode with a mission.
You know what I'm really excited about? The reason I'm really excited about coming to the Switch is because of the possibility of the wireless LAN play. I think that could be really cool if people like around you have a Switch and you don't have to run like take like your computer or anything like that over to a friend's house. You can just sit down and everyone in a room can play on their Switch. That sounds like a cool idea for Payday, just the way it's set up. Because Evan, the missions don't take long, do they? You can
some of them don't, but there are some ridiculous ones, and for some of the bigger ones, it's really annoying if that your team wants to stealth it and you go through every single setup. Like I think it was World Bank. There's like 3 major sections you have to go through involving hacking, getting key codes, stealing some numbers to put in for like a door. And then once you get past that, you're on to like the next set of like 5 missions, and you can't get noticed by the time you're in there. If you've already killed 4 people and used their pagers, you can't kill anyone else. You have to get around all the cameras. It just becomes this crazy thing where the moment someone spots you right near the end, that's it. Like if they wanted to stealth the whole thing, you're done. You either start fighting then, or you just reset the game, and that could be like a solid 30 or 40 minutes off of your day.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it coming to the Switch. I think most of us will probably play it together.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until today. Like I'd forgot that it was coming to Switch, and a bunch of people are tweeting about me randomly. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing that. A bunch of my roommates, they love anything co-op, and I'm trying to pressure my roommates into getting a Switch because they come into my office all the time to steal mine.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. You guys could probably be in. I wonder how far that wire. See, I haven't really tried. I wonder how far that wireless range goes. I wonder if you guys could be in like different rooms and still do it.
Well, we have a signal booster, and I think the signal booster also seems to cross pretty well. And my roommate's room is right above mine, so I do think I could probably be like, "All right, look, you're the main gunner. You're up top. I'm down here. We're good."
Yeah, that's gonna be cool when that comes out. Because like I said, we'll roll through that. We'll have some fun there, man. We'll rob some jewelry stores.
And some of the shorter matches, the stealth aspect's really fun. It does change the way the whole game plays.
So does that mean, Evan, you're going to teach us how to play, right? We're all going to play together, and you're going to
show you guys. I can show you guys the basic missions. It'd be perfectly fun.
Sean Ryan says I always look forward to SpawnCast, especially when these guys are on. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
We appreciate your viewership and the $5 donation. Thank you. Yeah, I think Evan's probably gonna have to lead us into the snatch, like the smashing and grabbing territory with the jewelry stores. But I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It should be out in end of February, I believe, is when we have the date.
27th.
No word on pricing, but we think it'll be like a $50 price, is what we've seen from GameStop. But Evan said that if that includes most of the DLC and stuff, that's actually good.
If that includes everything, that game's 100 hours easy, no problem.
So it sounds like it's worth it, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to it. So do we want to talk a little bit about? We got everyone, right? What everyone played, right? Let me make sure. Max, Evan, OJ, Sean. We got everybody. All right, good. I actually played Halo 3. I went out and I bought a brand new copy of Halo 3. I popped into my Xbox One X and I played that for hours. Same 10 people, because when I fired it up there, the population for Team Slayer was exactly 11 people. So
you didn't buy the Master Chief Collection? It wasn't that, or was it?
No, I have that, but I got the actual, because they made the actual Halo 3 disc backwards compatible.
Oh, so you just went out and actually bought the Halo 3 disc?
I did. I bought it like it was 2007 again. I went out, I bought it brand new for $12 because the Halo disc that I had I played it so much it actually wore out. Oh. It was one of the few games I've done that to.
Is it so it's split then, the online base from the Halo 3, the actual disc, and then the Master Chief Collection? They're not connected, like to where you can play against each other.
Yeah, they're not, because the Master Chief Collection runs at 60 frames, whereas the one on the 360 backwards still runs at 30. It's the exact same experience, except they did add like 4K visuals and stuff to it. It's the exact same experience though as what's on 360. So you also don't have a lot of the glitches and weird stuff that go on with the Master Chief Collection.
So basically, that's the reason why there was not that many people on, because
Well, that was with competitive Team Slayer. So it was like me and like a bunch of 50s playing.
Yeah.
So, but we still won. So it was alright.
If you want to play later on, I've still got my copy. I've got an Xbox One right here. I'll boot it up. I think I've told you this. For a couple of years after high school, I paid my bills going to Halo tournaments. No joke. I was a professional Halo player for, I guess, almost 2 years.
That must be stressful, man.
You gotta win.
Not really. So basically, we had a team of 4 guys, and we lived in a house, and all we played was Halo, and then we just literally look up where tournaments were, and we'd go there, and we'd like all enter, and then whoever won basically paid rent. So basically, there'd be like 25 or 100 people that competed, and we would just basically take the top 4 brackets, and we get every single prize and go home and like pay rent. And then like everybody's rent was like basically $112, since we're all just basically sleeping on the floor of a 1-bedroom apartment.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I can't do that, man. But shout out to
I was like 19 at the time. When you're 19 eating ramen, and we used to just literally buy like 24 packs of Mountain
Dew. You guys were like rounders for Halo, like the poker movie. Halo, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't played Halo in a while, that version, because I played the Master Chief Collection a lot, because the jump from 30 to 60 is very large, actually. Like it's kind of jarring. I don't know if you played the Master Chief Collection at all, Max.
A lot. Yeah, I probably put 70 hours into it.
Yeah, that's a very big difference when you do that. But it was so broken when it came out that I could barely play it. Anyway, I popped Halo 3 in. You got to download this patch when I first turned my Xbox on, so I had to do that. And then I was like, now you got to download this 7 GB patch. And then by the time I was all done the first time, I could only play it for like 5 minutes. I played one match before I turned back off. I think I spent more time updating than I did that. So it was, yeah, that's the way it is. But yeah, I mostly played that. I played more of Blossom Tales. I love that game. Great game, by the way. If you have not bought it, go buy it. It's worth the money. Especially if you like Zelda. It's another Zelda game, to be honest. Great game, though. And then I just got a code for some dodgeball game that I haven't played yet. I don't know. I got to check that out. But I think that's mostly what I've been playing this week when I had time. So I think that's everything for games, though. Do you guys want to talk about some of the fun news and everything before we kind of look back on 2017? Then I had a fun little topic that I saw OJ was tweeting about, and then, man, you got hit with a lot of people arguing about it, so I thought it'd be fun to talk about here. Because I actually have a different opinion, I think, on it than a lot of people did, so that's going to be fun.
Which one? I post a lot of stuff that people argue.
So you guys were, it looked like a lot of people were talking about, because, all right, so the two, we're just going to forget about the virtual console first, or Virtual Boy, first of all, because Nintendo can never make a system that's worse than their worst system, because the Virtual Boy is unbeatable, I think, in that category.
Literally blinds you. I love the Virtual Boy, but it damages your eyes.
I'm talking about in terms of sales and market share and everything.
Oh yeah,
and your eyes, sales and your eyes.
Yeah.
Somebody Will actually has a question. His friend gave him a gift card for eShop. Should I buy SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig 2 or Ukulele? Man, that's tough. That's the other, you know what? I was playing SteamWorld Heist. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. I was playing that game too. I bought it as soon as it showed up in the shop because I actually like that game a lot. SteamWorld Heist is good, and so is SteamWorld Dig 2. That's tough. You know, I'm gonna say get both SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig 2 just because I think you'll get more time out of those. And honestly, both of those games are just so good that I think two really good games kind of trumps one decent game.
I think it also depends on like what you like, because of the style of SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig 2 are completely different from Ukulele. If you're someone who loves Banjo-Tooie, you know what I'm saying, and loves those old school games, then you're gonna want the Ukulele game no matter what, you know. Whereas if you like, I don't know, SteamWorld Dig 2 is kind of hard to explain, but it's like I mean,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you've got it. You just got to make sure that you, like, if you like Banjo-Tooie, then I would say get Ukulele. That's what I would say. If you love those old school N64 type of platformers, then I would say that. But personally, for me, what I would pick would be SteamWorld Heist and SteamWorld Dig 2.
Dude, SteamWorld, I forgot how good SteamWorld Heist was. Max, did you play that one?
Nope, not a bit. Never even seen a screenshot.
No. All right, you might as well go buy it. It's kind of cool. Think of like a 2D version of like a strategy RPG style game. Like you're looking at it from the side. With all the SteamWorld characters and stuff, it's very cool. Like it's actually a really cool game.
It's like a wasteland. Heist. It's like a wasteland. Like think of like Wasteland in 2D, like Wasteland 2, or like the old school isometric Fallouts. Think of that, but just like 2D, and then with the SteamWorld Dig.
So you actually? This is gonna maybe be a dumb question. So is it like where you have like a walk meter and you can move a certain amount and then aim a certain amount?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And you actually aim automatic, like you yourself aim the gun, and some of them have laser pointers, some of them have shotguns. Then
when I see like robots bouncing shots to each other around corners. Holy hell!
And it all takes place in space, so you have like your own ship and everything that you travel around in, and it's fun. It's a cool game, and it was actually on the 3DS, and they brought it over to the Switch now, and it found its home with the Switch. That screen works so well. Like
I'm gonna have to buy it. I'm working on a big video, kind of a best Switch games kind of thing, and that looks like something I definitely need to test in order to make it very definitive.
Dude, it's pretty good. That's a game that when it came out was getting like 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s and stuff. So I would check it out.
Very good.
I would check it out. Okay. Well, I was talking. We could cover this now, actually, OJ, because this is a fun topic. I was talking about how you were, I think, talking about the other two systems that didn't sell as well as some of the other Nintendo stuff, which was the N64 and the Wii U, right?
Yeah, it started with Blandrew, who's a YouTuber who's really good but never likes to post stuff. He's the laziest great YouTuber ever. So it started with him, and I know some of you guys probably know him in the chat. And he posted something about like what it was one of those memes, like if one of them had to go, and it was a bunch of Nintendo systems. Oh,
I remember this.
Yeah, it was a bunch of Nintendo systems, and I've said this many times that I like the N64 is like I really don't like the N64 too much. Like I even back then I didn't know what frame rate was and all that, but I noticed there was something like wrong when I played N64 games compared to like Super Nintendo or compared to other games that were out at the time. There was just something like that was an issue with N64 games. Like I said, I didn't know what it was, but that was always my issue with it. Just like the way it moved, just the way it looked. I'm not a graphics person, but like I hated how everything was blocky.
You're talking about then. Like even like Perfect Dark, where if you threw a bunch of remote, well, like at times it would get down to like 10 frames per second.
Yep. Yeah. And whereas like when you played Super Nintendo, like that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like when you played like a Chrono Trigger or you played all the games on there, that didn't happen at all. And that was some of my issue with PS1 as well. So I mainly played Super Nintendo the whole time during that era. I mean, I had an N64. I tried to play PlayStation as much as I could, but I couldn't afford one back then as a kid. But I mean, that's the thing. I wasn't a huge fan, and like it didn't have like Metroid. It didn't have like a lot of the franchises that I like. Like going from Super Nintendo to N64, there was just like there was no RPGs. So I mean, I just put that on there. I was like, oh well, I don't really like if we're gonna compare the two, which one I would take. I would take the Wii U because the Wii U had a bunch of indie games and the Wii U had some RPGs that I really liked. Like it didn't have a lot, but it had some really good ones like Xenoblade Chronicles and Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and that was basically it for the most part. But those two are really awesome. So I mean, that's all I said. And it's not like it's like so like the Wii U so much better. I just like the Wii U more, and it has Bayonetta. Like those type of games like Bayonetta could never exist on the N64. So that was my only thing. I'm not huge on 3D platformers. So yeah, that's another thing. I'm just not huge on. I like Mario. Super Mario is awesome. But I'm not huge on 3. I'm not huge like on Banjo Tooie and all that. So and like people just started. I got destroyed. It was awesome.
people weren't happy about it, huh?
No, people were not happy about it at all. They were like, oh well, this is more popular. It has the best rated games. I'm like, look, I understand it. I know more people. Like you can look at the sales. More people liked N64 than Wii U. That's it. N64 has more historic games. Like I'm not disputing any of that. N64 it was groundbreaking for what it did. I understand its significance. I know it's going to be remembered more and liked more by Nintendo fans. I understand that. It's just like I said, I just like the Wii U a little bit more. But they were both low on the list. I mean, I still like Super Nintendo more. I think the Wii was better. I think GameCube was better. I think Switch is going to be better.
Oh, the GameCube was absolutely better than either of those two.
Yeah, the GameCube was a lot better. I think like Nintendo's portables, all of them pretty much are better. If you want to talk about like, bring in Nintendo portables, like the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, DS, all of them had more games. So I mean, it was just a comparison. Then people try to make it seem like if I was trying to say like we use the greatest thing in the world, which was not the case at all. I wasn't trying to say that at all.
Okay. Yeah, I actually see. I was more on the side of I'd take the N64 and leave the Wii U behind, only because I feel like the N64 had a bigger stamp on history. I mean, it showed up with 4 controller ports, and then Sony scrambles and comes out with the multi-tap. It had the expandable storage, has the Rumble Pack, which was like, whoa, wow, and then Sony scrambles and puts a controller that has that analog sticks. Yeah, like I looked at it and I was like, I gotta stick with my system, the N6 now. The 64, I had to keep that on the list at least, but
absolutely,
I didn't know it came from a list. I just thought it was Wii U versus N64.
No, it just came from a meme.
Okay, no, that's not a bad conversation to have because both of them were Nintendo's lowest selling systems, and both of them I think hurt Nintendo more than any of the other systems. The GameCube I think had an effect, but that at least led into a cheaper system with the Wii that made them a ton of money.
Well, the GameCube sold less than the N64, but I mean I see what you I mean outside of the GameCube, those are their I guess other two lowest.
Yeah, I think the N64 actually broke a lot of relationships that would have kept Nintendo successful, like especially with Square. OJ, one of the things I saw you said was there's no RPGs, and I think Nintendo, obviously with the cartridges, pretty much cut off, except for Square 60 or Quest 64 and Mega Man 64
Quest,
and Ogre Battle.
Quest, Paper Mario, Mega Man Legends, if you're going to count that, and Ogre Battle. But those are very that's pretty much it. But those are very different. Quest is horrible. It's trash.
Yeah,
and Ogre
it's not good.
Ogre Battle and Paper Mario. I mean, Paper Mario is amazing, but
Paper Mario's great.
Yeah, Paper Mario is amazing, but Ogre Battle is kind of different. So I mean, in the Wii U, you can even compare it in that way, like as far as just like the lack of RPGs. Although there's a number of indie style RPGs on the Wii U. So I mean, you can just say that,
because Square wanted to build for the N64 because they were still with Nintendo, but it's like Sony's going to give us the ability to build what we want, so we have to go there. And then it kind of snowballed into every single Sony game or Square game just going to like the RPG library for the PS1 is
it snowballed, and it was the price. It was just I mean, obviously you guys all know the price, the factor of the CDs. So I mean, like that was my issue. Like I said, it seemed to me like Nintendo just said screw everything that made like Super Nintendo great. Like for the most part, like it just. I mean, and that's cool. You want to innovate, and they innovated a lot with the N64.
Well, did you hear in the interview about why they decided not to go with CDs? And Sony was trying to show them why they should. Did you hear what happened? Like the quote. I'm trying to remember which part of the Nintendo R&D team, because I don't think he works there anymore, but he in an interview talked about why they didn't have CDs and what the big factor was. I don't know if you heard about that at all.
I know I remember reading something, but I don't remember exactly what that person said, but I know what interview you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I read that. Is that the one where the guy said that they were just basically terrified of bootlegging? That at that point that they were just being like, okay, like piracy is about to become a thing, and they were really paranoid. They're like, okay, if we make a cartridge and only we can develop this cartridge, and there's no technology to scan our cartridge except for our console, nobody will ever get a Nintendo game without paying.
I heard that one, but the big one that I heard, and this was pretty recent. I think this interview was like a month or two ago, not even. They said apparently they sat down with the prototype with like the PS1 and everything, and they booted up a game, and it took like 10 seconds. And as soon as it loaded, they said no one's going to want to wait that long to play a game. And they said that, so they went with cartridges. The load times was literally the deciding factor.
That was one of the things I hated about PS1 was the load times.
No, I get that. Times are crazy. But people got over it, and it was like, Nintendo didn't think people would get over it, and they.
When I first played Crash Bandicoot, I got over it real quick. It was fine. It wasn't a problem at all.
Oh yeah. But it's kind of funny to read back on that now, and they were just one of those misses that you can see in hindsight. But I mean, who knows what we would have said back then if we were in that position. We would have been like, oh man, 10, 15 seconds. I
would have said do whatever you can to get Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy 6 was the greatest thing ever. So I would have said, like, Nintendo, you guys are idiots. Get me Chrono Cross. Get me everything that was on the Super Nintendo. If I knew that was going to come over, I would do anything to keep Square Enix. At that point, I would have.
Where are you? Where are you on this one, Sean?
I mean, Wii U was great, but I got to go with N64. N64 was an interesting system because it had so many good games and so many shit games at once. Like, it was, and there's only like what 200 and something.
Yeah, it's like 248 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, and like you have so many good games at the top, and you have so many shit games at the bottom, and there's like 5 mediocre games. Like there was no like real balance. But yeah, I mean I gotta go with the N64. Just because
where do you count Glover? Is that mediocre? Or is
I put like Glover, Chameleon Twist. I felt those were very mediocre, but good games. Oh, Jesus, I'm trying to think of another one.
Resident Evil 64. That's a pretty mediocre one. It's like, this is still Resident Evil 2, and I love it, but my God, does it look blurry.
Yeah, but it was so crazy how they fit that on one fucking cartridge, though.
It is.
That's insane.
I'm the one guy, I absolutely love StarCraft 64. Everybody insults it because they had to remove the cutscenes. The music is only like 10 seconds in loops. I still thought that the way you would do upgrades, like you would actually select a building and then basically your C buttons would basically be like upgrade armor, upgrade guns, or whatever like that. I thought that system was so fast. So the fact that it was like basically all hotkeys, people insult that, say it's one of the worst Nintendo 64 games. I love it.
I was super happy when the GameCube came out because it was done with the 6. I was like, hallelujah.
Dude, I really wish the GameCube had done better. I actually really like that system, but man, not having that DVD player in there, like that really hurt it. And it kills me because I love that system. That's like one of my favorite systems from back in the day was the GameCube. so many games on there were good. It's just the PS2 took over so fast, and people were buying that just to get a DVD player. I know some people who had a PS2 who didn't even play games. They just used this DVD player. That was it.
Well, it's weird. So my history is weird where I did Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and then I got a Nintendo 64, and I think I probably played it for like 2 months, and then the neighbor kid got a PlayStation, and I managed to talk him into somehow getting a second PlayStation for Christmas, and I traded him my Nintendo 64, and that of course introduced me to like all the giant RPGs that changed my life. And so after that, I just basically went PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and then years later I was like, oh yeah, Nintendo's still here, let's go play that.
Chad says Nintendo's been really good about hiding load times. Mario Odyssey is a great example. That's a good point. And don't you dare mock Glover. I think that's related. I think that's for Sean.
Oh no, I like Glover.
Oh, I guess
Glover's definitely a mid-tier game. Mid-tier, one of the few. I mean, there was legitimately probably like maybe 10 to 15 mid-tier games. I'd maybe throw some of the first-person shooters in there. I would say the original Turok and Turok 2 were good tier. Turok 3 was mid-tier.
Come on, Ray Force.
Everyone loves Turok, and I really...
Dude,
Dinosaurs.
I'm so into Turok. I found all the Turok books and all the Turok comics where they actually trip to all these extra dimensions and get stuck on a gladiator universe. I don't know. They're garbage, and I read every single one of them.
Yeah, I like the first Turok the most though, because it was really the first 3D first person shooter I had played, because I never played I didn't play PC games. I mean, I played Doom like a little bit on the PC, but I didn't play any PC games. So that was my first person shooter, and I was like, holy shit.
What kills the original Turok for me is those platforming sections. The fact that you had to manually look down because it was so specific. They'd like jump on these 15 things. Oh, you're dead. And then it showed that cutscene of Turok going, all the way down the hole.
I couldn't throw that game faster back to Blockbuster. You remember Blockbuster back in the day where you had to have it back before noon? It was back at like 10 a.m.
Dude, they were serious about that too.
Yeah, they were serious. They'll charge. I was there early.
People don't remember. They had crazy overcharge fees. I remember it was like $10 to rent a game, and then if you were like a day late, it was a $5 overcharge fee. You're like, oh my god, I'll just rent it again. Jesus.
That's so true.
They were crazy. That's why they're out of business, though. They were crazy about that. You know,
my dad got mad. It was a true story. My dad spanked me once because he every week, like every 2 or 3 weeks, I'd be good, and he'd let me rent one game, and I rented GoldenEye 4 times in a row, and he found out, I was like, you're wasting my money. I just told me to buy it. I was like, I'm afraid. I just want to play a GoldenEye.
Robert Erickson dropped 50 secs in there. So it's a shame the stream is trending on YouTube gaming section. There's no way we can get it to the top. I would not like that. Why are people are liking this video and getting us on trending?
We told you not to.
This is a problem. Chad says, I still remember PS2's playing the lobby scene from The Matrix on loop.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember.
Oh, that's right.
I remember I actually lived right behind a Blockbuster when I was like 19 or 20. My apartment complex was right behind that and a Papa John's, and I still would get delivery because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But anyways, I had a modded Xbox, and so I could just burn the games right on it. And so like, not only did I work at GameStop at the time, and I would just burn games onto my thing, but I also had the Games Pass that Blockbuster had, and I would, whatever games we didn't have at my GameStop, I would rent them from Blockbuster. I'd go home, I'd burn it, I'd come back 10 minutes later, like, I want to get something else. Like,
dude, Sean, did you just say that you lived behind a Papa John's and Blockbuster and you worked at GameStop? How did you not commit suicide at some point, bro? Like Papa John's, Blockbuster, and there. I mean,
it was heaven for me.
GameStop.
This is a total aside. Do y'all remember that time? It was like 2007 where they found this GameStop that was actually charging people. They were modding the original Xboxes, and they were selling it as the Super Xbox plan, and they were selling them for like $300 or $400 a piece. And you could pay $500, and they'd replace the hard drive and stuff. And somehow they were just doing this totally under the desk, but actually filing it as profit for their store. So GameStop apparently knew about it, was turning a blind eye, and apparently Microsoft came in there and just like basically tried to sue everybody, shut down the entire location. It was this whole big thing of being like, oh my God, you are all so in court, you psychopaths. What are you doing?
Can you DM me? You know the article? Can you DM me that later?
I bet I can find it right now. Here, while y'all keep talking.
I have like 2 or 3 modded Xboxes right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, we wouldn't do shit like that. We would just bust them out.
Like, can you imagine being at work and being like, I'm just gonna sell illegal ass material from an official distributor?
I mean, the shadiest shit I would do when I worked there was someone would bring in some retro games and we didn't take retro games, and I'd be like, yo, we can't take these, but you should walk out front in like 5 minutes. And I'd be like, okay. And then I'd be like, yo, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. And I'd go out front and I'd be like, yo, here's some cash. Let me get them games. I do that shit all the fucking time.
Yeah, we used to.
This
I
young
would like
kid.
mod it. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, go ahead.
I would like mod it. Did you know you can actually change the CPU in the Xbox? You can actually change it out. Yeah, you actually desolder it and then you solder a new one in. And we would do that. I think you put a Turion in there, which is a little older CPU, but it actually raised the clock speed up, and that's when we would start using it for main machine. So we would play like all the big arcade games.
Yeah.
You can also double the RAM. You can actually take RAM chips off of another Xbox and put it on yours.
You're making this sound so easy. Like everyone's Dexter, like you, man.
Dude, we did it daily.
Yes, ask Kevin, dude. I would take chips off PS3s and stuff, RSX chips, PS4s.
That thing we bought from that like NASA used to build boards. I think it was like
$5,000, but it got a lot of work done. I mean, we were doing reballs for like 125 a piece, and I was doing like 4 or 5 of those in like a day or so. It was a lot of work, but
we had a guy in my circle of friends who would you'd pay him $100 and like a bottle of booze, and he would basically mod out your console to do that and give it back to you like a month later, and it would have like 50 Xbox games installed, every Super Nintendo game, every NES game, every Genesis game, all in one crazy console, and he was like, there you go, take care of it. And then, of course, like all MAME at all your arcade games. That's the first way I ever beat Metal Slug, actually.
But Sean, if we could be honest here for a second, I did the same exact thing with my PS2. So you could mod the PS2. I still have a memory card around here that has it. There's a file you put on there, and then your PS2 turns into what the Xbox was basically. And because the PS2 had native hot swappable hard drive support, you would get an IDE drive. I actually had a 500 gig, popped it in with that network adapter, popped in the back, and then you could just start putting PS2 games in, and it'll rip it right to the hard drive.
That's nice.
You can do it now.
The Wii was pretty crazy with modding too. Yeah. I actually, when I was in college, I remember you paid like not 100. It was like more $200 due to get you a hooked up Wii with pretty much all the virtual, like everything on there, all the games. And I did it because what was it because of? I forgot what game, Xenoblade Chronicles or something. I forgot what it was when Nintendo was being lame, and I was like, I need to play this game, and it wasn't out here in America. So yeah, he hooked me up with that. So that was pretty cool. That was my modding experience.
But you could Carl's taken off. Carl, thanks again, man, for the donation.
Carl hit over 100 subs.
He did get 100 subs. Good job, everyone.
Yeah, y'all rule.
Yes. But we did the PS2 was actually a pretty cool system to mod. The Wii was really neat, by the way, OJ. I had a Wii that was modded. You could actually I remember I loaded Quake on there and played that. And when it was modded, believe it or not, it actually had DVD support, so it could read DVDs.
Yeah.
The homebrew. I used to go on the homebrew channel, and there was all sorts of homebrew applications. You could just download whatever. I mean, back when I did that, believe it or not, I actually used to do that all the time with the Wii. I did that all the time.
Well, that's how you would get like Project M and stuff on there, right?
Exactly. Exactly. That's how we get Project M. That's how we would just get like DVD support, CDs. You could play CDs back when CDs were a thing for a lot of people. You can play the MP. I mean, you can already play music on the Wii, but it was a better music player, that looked better and everything. Like sometimes, like when I try to get girls to come over to the dorm.
Exactly.
I play a little bit on the Wii, See what I'm saying?
That's great. That's awesome. Believe it or not, back in the day, if you were at the dorms and stuff, and the Wii was like the hot thing, that would actually get a lot of people in your dorm.
It did. That was the first step. Hey, I got Mario Kart on the Wii. You're halfway there.
Yeah, it got bowling night.
You brought that up when you were like, "Hey, I got a Wii." They were like, "You got a Wii?" It got real serious there too.
It did, man. Especially college, it was the best. It came out right at the height of its popularity. I was in college in 2000. I got to Fresno State in 2007. So that was like,
that was when it was impossible to find too.
It was impossible, but I had one.
Oh, there you go.
Because I camped out at GameStop the year before when I was going to junior college. So
I got mine at Walmart. Yeah, I remember I waited at Walmart. I think I waited there for like 12 hours or something, but I got it. I got it.
My buddy, he waited outside of Walmart for I think 8 or 9 hours, and he got the Wii. And he got Zelda, and I just remember because he came home and he wouldn't let us play it. He was like, "No, the first 12 hours it's mine." It's like, okay, that's totally fine. And we all lived together in that like super cramped house, and he had taken a bunch of sword fighting classes when he was younger, so he was being really serious with all of his sword. And I just remember, I swear to God, he was in a fencing stance, being like, it was like, whoa, it is Zelda. He's detecting this. You can literally fucking do this. And he was like, no.
Man.
No, too serious, but do you. It's your 12 hours.
Get him like, hopefully he didn't get his hands on Wii Sports Resort and like the sword in there. He would have been like turned into like I don't know, like what was like Leonardo from like the Turtles or something.
The other like game he got way too serious into is for some reason Wii boxing. He was really big about like Mike Tyson. It's like just move your hands a tiny, like you don't have to like lay on the floor when you duck. Just stop.
Okay, so we spent the first hour kind of reminiscing, talking about a bunch of stuff and everything. How about we get into some gaming stuff here specifically? Let's talk very quickly about there's a big part in the news right now about the whole swatting thing. I assume you guys have heard a lot about that.
Yes.
Okay. For anyone who doesn't know, some dumb people at, I believe it was a Call of Duty.
It was a
Call of Duty.
Yeah. Small little mini fight between two people.
It was like between two like they were playing Call of Duty. Apparently they were even teammates, believe it or not. From what I was reading through everything, it was over, I believe, $1.50.
Yeah, this was apparently like the second time they did something super stupid over a small bet.
$1.50 though is what it was over. So they somehow got an address from the person. Turns out it was the wrong address. They do this swatting thing, which I thought that whole thing was like had fallen out. I didn't know it was even still a thing. I thought that kind of fell out. I thought it was popular for like a few months and then it just kind of went away.
This specific guy has become famous because he swatted a bunch of people. You remember about a month ago when there was the big bomb threat during the FCC hearing?
That was him, wasn't it?
The same guy. Yes, this guy is known for it. So most people have grown the fuck up except for this clown.
Yeah, I can't believe that it was like. And did you hear his interview, by the way, on Drama Alert?
No, I don't want to. Honestly, that dude does not deserve a click. That scum like that needs to be put in jail and not talked to. Just isolate.
Well, he was arrested. But
he got arrested.
Did anyone listen to his interview at all?
I didn't see the interview with John Miller. Can you tell me about it?
It was very bad because he was basically saying that it was not his fault at all.
Yeah, I saw some excerpts actually from that when I was looking into it.
It was
like
pretty bad.
It wasn't his fault, and that's right. I mean, it is. First of all, it is your fault. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing overall. Because basically, when you hear what he called in, he basically said that a crazed person with a gun had taken a family hostage, had already killed one person. So the police are going there thinking, all right, there's a guy, there are fatalities. You know, shots fired, everything. They're not going in to knock on the door and be like, "Hey, is everything okay in here?" You know, they're going in there looking to say something once and then open fire. Basically,
we've seen it before with Daniel Shaver. We've seen it with Daniel Shaver, dude. Some of these SWAT team members, most of them are highly trained and know what they're doing, but some of them have really itchy trigger fingers. And you make one little movement, they think that you're grabbing a gun or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that with Daniel. He got blasted.
Well, I remember the whole thing. The Daniel Shaver game, that SWAT guy who shot him in the back of the head while he was begging not to get killed. Yeah. That SWAT member, when they interviewed the case, he had carved onto his machine gun, "You're fucked." Like some of these SWAT members are psychopaths. You cannot call them in unless you're actually expecting people to get shot and killed.
Yep. So, but so basically during if you get a chance to go back and watch it just to see his attitude towards it, he does not feel like there was anything. He basically feels like he didn't do much wrong with it.
I mean, really, you know, maybe it's the old school New Orleans rap I'm listening to in the background right now. It's gonna talk through me. But fuck this dude. I say you just put a bullet in his head. Like, you calling in a SWAT team over $1.50 on trying to fuck someone else up, and then that person dies, and then you feel no remorse. Like you're not a kid. You're not a 16-year-old dumbass kid. Everyone did shit when they were kids. You're a 25-year-old grown-ass man.
But calling 911 was never something as a kid that I'm going to do this for fun. Like that's
I just meant dumb shit in general. Like
that's true. Yeah.
No, I would never do that either. I don't even call 911 when there is a problem because that's a different story. But yeah, like fuck that dude. Like he deserves the absolute worst. And you know, like just man, I can't stand motherfuckers like that.
What's the maximum punishment on this one, John? Do you know?
I think they could hit him with murder charges, which would leave him in jail for life. So
yeah, well, at the very least, manslaughter is usually minimum is 14, so he got for 7 if he sucks all the right dick.
His real problem though is he's done it before, so you can't really say there's no history. He's apparently swatted people multiple times and apparently called in the bomb threats. So he's pretty much. He knew what he was doing essentially. So
I would say 10 years, man. He needs to spend at least 10 years in not prison in like a federal penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs to be like not jail, not prison, not jail. Like it needs to be hard time in prison. Like
did you see there was this?
He needs to be in Gen Pop too. Don't isolate him.
Yeah. So
he needs to get fucked with.
They did this really interesting documentary called My Life Behind Bars, I believe. I'm sure you guys will be able to Google this, but basically it was this guy who was sending death threats to a lot of like online personalities, doing lots of like serial harassment, setting up bots to like fill people's emails with like graphic death threats and stuff like that. Well, the police managed to track and find him, and they actually arrested him. He put through trial, and he's spending 7 years in Gen Pop hard as hell prison. And they've interviewed him. He's now been in jail for 2 years, and they interviewed him, and he's just this chubby little loser with no friends who's just a piece of human garbage. And they interviewed him, and he's like, I'm in here with a bunch of murderers and crack dealers and stuff, and I'm just messing around in chat logs. It's like, yeah, well, you know what? This has consequences. That's why you're in jail, you idiot.
Well, usually I assume, because he doesn't think he did anything wrong, but usually you call the police like that when you're trying to play a prank on somebody, but they're not there when it all goes down. They just hear about it or they see it on stream. I imagine from the person's point of view, it looks pretty scary when a bunch of police officers with guns break your door down. So
I've had that happen. Yeah, it is scary.
So we'll see what happens, because unfortunately the court system takes forever to happen. So he was arrested yesterday. We'll probably hear more about this in 6 months. So that's just
the U.S. court system's kind of trash.
Yeah, it takes forever.
It's pretty bad. We got a guy that just killed 4 people. He just got done 4 years later. Serial killer from like, I don't know, I forgot where he was, Utah or something or whatever. Heck, we got a guy that killed. What was that Batman dude? Killed how many people?
A lot, and that just happened recently, right?
No death penalty. So.
Yeah.
They say, man, we're getting off topic, but fuck it. Yeah. I say, bring back firing squads and shit. Like, you want a death row? Just put you doing all this lethal injection shit. You're gonna let them sit on death row 15? No, put a bullet in their head. Move on.
I'm normally against a lot of that stuff because some of those people do turn out to be innocent. But a lot of times, if it's very clearly, obviously a guilty person, we have a lot of evidence backing up. I don't know if people know this. Keeping people on death row is extremely expensive.
It's very expensive.
It's more expensive because they get them specialty lawyers. They have specialty guards. They're in specialty complexes. I hate to say it, but I'm a big fan of, like, if you were an absolute garbage person like that, stop sitting in a cell. We have bullets. It's fine.
And to me, it's like DNA. If you have DNA evidence, then it should be like, if there's no DNA, if it's witness testimony and stuff like that, then okay, maybe life in prison, whatever. But if it's DNA, then it should be
Or if the person's like, yeah, I did it. Here's proof.
I did it. Like the Boston Strangler. Like the Boston Strangler's confession is super creepy. Where he's like, yeah, like the first person I snuck in their house, and this is how I did it. And I wasn't sure how long it'd take to kill somebody, so I strangled him for like 20 minutes. And it's just like, okay, this guy clearly just needs to stop being alive. Like, he doesn't feel bad. Let's just take care of this.
Okay, so let's jump back to what we were talking about originally. I just wanted to bring it in because it did have some obviously impact on the gaming world and everything. It will be taken seriously finally, and hopefully this pretty much ends the whole swatting thing, because unfortunately it had to happen. But now, hopefully, all the people that do this will think a little harder about it. So it's also going to come down to what happens to this person in the court system. They should make an example, be pretty harsh on them, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, we'll see what happens there. So how about we take a look back at 2017? Can we do that? Let's look back at 2017, because I look back at some of my original videos from January, the 1st of January, and man, it was so different from now to then, because at that time the Switch was not available, it was not on the market. We were still speculating about a lot of stuff, by the way, which was pretty funny to look back on. And the PlayStation VR was still heavily questioned. We didn't know if it was going to be any good. And now it's at least sold over 2 million, and it seems like there is some support for it and everything. The Xbox, we were still kind of talking about the Xbox. No, it was still Project Scorpio actually at the time. So we just got Xbox One X recently. So Scorpio is still kind of up in the air. We didn't know what it was, what it cost or anything. But overall, looking back, I have to say the thing that I think did the biggest turnarounds from then to now probably was the Switch, because it had a lot of question marks after the Wii U. And so far, I have to say, in 10 months, it has impressed so far. But what do you guys think looking back on 2017? Is there any certain thing you guys want to talk about that you noticed that kind of changed throughout?
Just because I'm pretty sure no one else will bring it up, I do want to go to bat and say I'm impressed by how much the Xbox One X actually did boost Xbox numbers. Like in the last couple months, their community has really surged. Their game sales have really surged. There's a lot of people who went from PlayStation 4 owners to PlayStation 4 Pro owners and then jumped over to Xbox One X owners and then bought a bunch of games.
That's actually me, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually play my Xbox One X more than my PS4 Pro now. Because
well, I've been playing a bunch of Xbox One PUBG. As much as the dumpster fire is definitely kind of my game right now. And
we're gonna see a lot of these in the chat, by the way. If you guys look at it, Chad brought up a game that I completely forgot during 2017. The Mass Effect Andromeda, the madness of that. We'll get into some other stuff like that too. But go on, Max.
Oh, it's just I'm impressed. I feel like I did not expect it. I honestly expected because. So I have a bunch of friends who work at GameStop, and this is anecdotal, but they were telling me that the pre-order numbers for the Xbox One X like surpassed their wildest dreams. Like they were having like 300 consoles pre-ordered and stuff. They had no idea what to expect. So crazy day one sales, and they managed to actually maintain. I've heard in the last like couple weeks, it's just plummeted. Nobody's buying Xbox One X anymore.
I see them at Walmart all the time. Like I look over, it's $500. You know, it's not like it's something you walk and be like
$500.
I feel like that's the biggest problem is it's a little bit hard to like an Xbox One pretty damn cheap now, especially because a lot of places now are having a thing where you buy it for $180 and they give you a free game or a $50 gift card. So it's hard to be like, I'll pay double that for a console that's not double good.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, the PS4 is like $250 also. So it's like, I get what you're saying, but like I play the Xbox One X is what I play over my PS4 Pro now because it's a better system. I like the controller for the Xbox, by the way, as well. More. I'm kind of weird about that.
I like it, man. For some reason, I feel like I'm out of practice with it. I've been playing a lot of my Xbox One. I'm good with PUBG, but for some reason, when I play Fortnite, since I've put 115 hours into Fortnite on PS4, aiming on Xbox One, I'm trash.
Keith dropped $5 in the super chat. You can leave a message, man. You can let us know what you think. By the way, guys, we're closing in on 900 viewers and 419 likes. And I think we are on trending. So I guess things are going pretty well right now for us. But I don't want to climb up any further on that trending tab. I would hate for other people to see us talking about this stuff.
If we're at the top, people are going to stumble in here and hear us talking about the death penalty and Xbox.
Yeah, right.
Just shoot every Xbox in the head.
I have to say, you know what, Max? I was thinking about this, and I just saw this in the chat, which is really funny from Anthony. I actually think the Xbox One X is going to benefit heavily from tax time coming up.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people will buy it because See, here's the thing: tax time is coming up, and some of the things that usually get purchased during tax time are generally things like a car. Or that's if you get a lot of money back, or a TV. TVs, man.
Yeah.
You're all the time by tax money. So if somebody buys, like I go to Walmart and I keep looking at 4K TVs, by the way, because I really want to make that purchase. I keep thinking about it, but I keep seeing how cheap they are. Like a 4K TV, you can get one for like $400 for like a 50-inch.
Absolutely.
It might not be the best in the world, but you'll still get that resolution, you know?
You won't get HDR, you know.
Right. It's like simulated HDR or something. Yeah.
The motion rate might not be, you know, the highest motion rate. Maybe it's 120 instead of 240, you know, but
yeah.
It's still
like to somebody, they're like, you know, I have a 4K. As long as they see that symbol on the TV, right? They're like, I got to get an Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro now.
Yeah.
And if they have that, if they got like $1,000 back in tax time, they're like, this is free money. I'm just going to buy an Xbox, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, honestly, all electronics and consumer items go up during tax time because people usually throw the money around for that.
But, dumbasses.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, the government wants them to spend that money.
True.
Yeah. That's what it's for. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Almost feels like you should inject some of that money into the economy. I always tell people, any money you get back for taxes, take half of it, put it in the bank, take the other half, and go have fun. So
that's fair.
That's smart. That requires people not to be like, but I have a $4,000 check and there's a $4,000 TV in front of me. Are you telling me that this is a straight trade?
By the way, if you want a really good TV, I think it's the TCL, not the S405. I think it's the T605. It's like $600. Great looking TV. That's the one I keep thinking about buying. It actually has real HDR and it's 4K. So I keep looking at it. I'm like, I'm so close.
It's like you look at your kid and you're like, food, or you look at
It's like, I could buy my darling angel a new backpack to carry food that I just bought, or second option.
Or I can record them eating and put it on my 4K TV and watch it.
I know that's what I do when I'm looking at stuff, and then my daughter busts into her and says, "Hi, Dad," and I'm like, I should probably not.
Let's see. Oh, look at this. Wolverdale 12 said I actually arrived when you guys were talking about the death penalty.
It's fine.
Welcome to SpawnCast.
Quality gaming content. That's what you guys tune in for.
It is HDR10. There's a really good thread. I think it's on Reset Era, maybe. But they were talking about it, and I keep looking at it. It's the same TV. It's not the lower end one for 400. It's the one above it for like 600. But I keep looking at it, so I don't know. We'll see. If I do buy it, I'll let you guys know. But just in case you want to,
it's always good to wait. Though. I'm not trying to. It's always good.
I know. It's always like that though, man. With cell phones,
it never ends. I know if you wait all the way till the end of the year, then you can wait a little bit more. Then all of a sudden, it's been 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
I just picked out my new phone, and it's a Galaxy S7. It's not even a new phone. But,
somebody just tweeted out a picture of the SpawnCast on a giant screen TV, and it says, "Check out their criminal justice live stream at Spawn Wave," and it's a link.
It'd be perfect if I had like the Law and Order sound effect.
Exactly. Dun dun
dun dun dun dun. Yeah, that's great. Oh man, check out the Criminal Justice Reform live stream. I promise we talk about video games on here too.
Sorry, we're all somewhat kind of older.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Xbox One X turnaround 2017, but let me talk to you guys a little bit about the Switch. There's a lot of people counting the Switch out.
Yep.
I think right at the beginning of 2017, Max, you've pretty much admitted to being one of the people who did count
I have several videos that still exist.
That's fine. That's fine. But let me ask you, Max, because you were on that side. Sean was actually on that side too.
Yep.
Yes, he was. What made you guys think that, and what kind of turned it around for you as we went through 2017? Was it the sales, or was it when you actually got it and you started playing it and you were like, okay.
It wasn't even that. So full facts, full honesty. My problem was I felt like the launch lineup was weak. So I liked Zelda. Zelda was cool. And then a couple months later, we got Mario Kart, but I still didn't find myself using it that much. In fact, I'd actually unhook it unless I was doing a review with it. What really won me over were all the indie games. There was just this constant avalanche of Stardew Valley. Here's a random cool puzzle game. Okay, cool. Here's a freaking Puyo Pop Tetris. And now here, let's Golf Story. And just like it became too much to ignore. And I realized after a while that I was actually playing my Switch more than any other console for a couple months there. So it's one of those things where you're like, oh, like this has become a powerhouse, even sneaking up on me.
I don't think anyone could really have predicted that the indies would have attached to that system so rapidly.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like that really helped. That's something I think Nintendo was missing with the Wii U, where the amount of indie games because so far, I mean, the indie games, it seems like we're getting new games on the Switch every day, every other day. Is anyone else? Like I'll turn on my Switch and be like, oh, this came out. I'll check it out. And it's an indie game. And we keep seeing this from Death Squared got like a massive surge during Christmas Day.
500% boost.
It's insane. Blossom Tales in the first 24 hours or something outsold the entirety of the Steam's lifetime sales to date,
which I feel like people don't really grasp the freaking amazingness. Once that was on sale on Steam for like an entire year, right? And in one day it outsold it on the Switch. Like that cannot be overstated. That is a crazy thing to hear.
Yeah, like it's like, man, indies now, because of the sales, indies are just flocking to the Switch.
Yeah,
man. They're like stumbling over themselves to get on this system.
We recently got some information that Enter the Gungeon sold 75,000 copies in 2 weeks.
What?
Jeez.
On the Switch.
God dang.
That's a lot.
They're not supposed. They broke a rule. They're not supposed to say how much they sold exactly, but they didn't care. They were so stoked.
Yeah, man. I'd be putting up a sign like, "Hey guys, I'm not supposed to show you this giant gold-plated sign. I made the O's on 75,000 nipples just to make sure you knew."
Chad said launching in March gave Nintendo time to gauge demand. Also, the Switch was the natural extension of the Vita. The Vita had a lot of indie sport as well, but the Vita was a weird system, man. Sony forgot about it, man. Nintendo actually supports the Switch. Sony they just forgot about it. It's a shame.
Yeah, we're still finding games coming out that are like, oh, PS4 and Vita. It's like, really?
Yeah, I think that has to do just with them signing on with Sony, and they're like, sure, cross save. Here you go. It's interesting with the Switch though. I do think the indie games really helped it though. And then the marketing was night and day compared to the Wii U. Marketing for the Wii U was not good. Great for the Switch. Very. The first thing we saw with the Switch was an adult holding it, and using it. So what were you saying, Sean?
Well, I just remember I was at work. I was at work when that.
Oh, yeah. Do you have anything planned for your last day?
Oh, chaos.
Yeah, okay.
Fire and everything.
Dude, don't get arrested. You're going to be mixing up all prescriptions and medications.
Yeah, every third prescription today is Skittles.
They just I've had this in my mind since October, and once I finally started going through all the steps, and especially once I found the place, a week or two ago, it's just been straight downhill. My boss just looks at me, he's like, you're worthless. I'm like, that's fine. You got me for a couple more months. But yeah, dude, it's just I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. But I was watching, back on track. I was watching the unveiling at work because I was at work and I was like, fuck you, I need the computer to watch this. And I just remember disappointment and sorrow as this machine was unveiled, because at the time there was two camps. There was what essentially was the PlayerEssence camp, that it was going to be a hybrid, and then the Super Metal Dave camp, which was going to be a powerful home console. And I was on the side of Super Metal Dave. That's what I wanted. And then when I saw this hybrid thing, I was like, what is this? This is crap, blah, blah, blah. And then I started to sort of see I actually made a video and I was like, I don't like this. I think these are going to be the problems with it, blah, blah, blah. And then I sort of started coming around, once they started showing games for it. And then once I just got it, I was like, I could go outside with this. I could play this in my room. I could play this in bed. I could play this while I'm in the bathroom. The value of it just went up tremendously for me. And then you ended up getting all these awesome games.
Yeah, it's interesting though that it's worked out as well as it has so far, at least in their first year. I mean, they haven't even finished their first year yet, so we'll see next year. 2018 is going to be a fun year, I think, for them. We'll see how things go there, especially if Pokemon shows up. But,
if you think about it, if somebody would have told you in January or before we got a reveal of any other games besides what they showed in 2016, which was Zelda, Mario, and that NBA 2K snippet, if they would have been like, you're gonna get Splatoon 2, you're gonna get Xenoblade 2, you're gonna get Super Mario in 2017, you're gonna get Zelda, and you're also gonna get Skyrim, and you're gonna get Doom, and you're gonna get fucking Rocket League. You would have smacked someone in the face. You've been like, "Are you stupid?" No, you're not getting that. Please go seek help. But
that's when I changed my mind. Was when I watched the presentation in January, and I watched it 3 times because the first time that I watched it, when I was watching it with Dave, my power cut off in the middle of it. So I had to watch it again. Then I watched it one more time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is actually amazing." There's a ton of games. So I'm like, "This is going to be good. This is going to be really good." That's when I changed my mind about it, and I knew I knew that it was going to be successful at that point. After I got done watching it, the presentation 3 separate times, and it's long, and I watched the full presentation. And when I saw that Xenoblade, they said 2017, and they're like, yes, Splatoon and all those games. I'm like, this is going to be successful because we're used to way less than this. Nintendo fans are used to way less than this, and you can take it anywhere you want. So I knew Japan was going to be big on it. I started thinking a little bit more. Japan's going to be huge on this thing, and we're going to get all these different games. This is going to be big. So that's when I changed my mind about it.
I had this really interesting moment. October of last year, October 2016, I was at a convention with Boogie2988, and we're we're about to go out on the stage and do this guest panel. And I'm talking to him before we got there, and I was like, "Oh, so what do you think about that Nintendo rumor, the NX?" And he said, "Oh, I have this friend who's a big developer over at Ubisoft, and apparently they've actually gotten to play the new system, and he's not allowed to describe it to me. He's not allowed to even tell me what the controller looks like, but he said it will change the world." And I was like, "Sure, boogie. That sounds like hype or something. I looked him dead in the face like, yeah, right. And here I am a year later being like, yes, sir, I would like more Switch games, sir.
It's interesting to see how many, because I think what happened is I don't think the audience is coming from the Wii. I think that's pretty clear because my grandmother's not asking me about the Switch. She was asking me about the Wii. So I don't think the Wii audience is coming back. And it sounds crazy. I actually think the GameCube audience is coming back. It sounds weird, but like the people playing it right now, I don't think are the people playing it from the Wii.
I think, dude,
it's a lot of adults, though, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's adults. Yeah, it's people who are.
Handle Bible, a lot of them are PC gamers. So many friends are PC gamers, and it's become this thing of being like, okay, I can play PS4 games, basically, almost every PS4 game on my PC. I can play almost every Xbox One game on my PC, but it's like Zelda, Mario, Golf Story. Yeah, you know what? That's worth buying a $300 gadget for. That's like the price of a great graphics card.
Yeah, it's the indies alone are really holding this thing up. I have the GPD Win, but the Switch is way more practical to use than the GPD Win. So, yeah, if I can play a lot of those indie games on the go, because I really did like the Vita a lot, and I wish it was supported. This is really giving me that Vita experience to like the max. Like seriously, it's a much better system than the Vita. But then it also plugs into your TV in a much more refined way. You can plug the Vita in. That was a whole thing. What was that now? That was a whole thing to get that going. So I do like that it turned out as well as it did.
The Vita, I will say that the Vita, in terms of like the way that communications and features, like the Vita kind of is better right now. You know.
Well, I mean, it had system level voice chat. It's just,
and like messaging, Skype, like it has like all of that. But
yeah, it had the standard Sony community package.
Yeah, trophy integration, cross saves.
I actually thought Nier was kind of cool too. That was kind of a neat idea. Didn't work out so well because they made us try to use AT&T. Yeah, right. Yeah. But it was still a cool idea. It was more innovative than I was used to Sony trying to be. So it was kind of neat.
Did y'all ever hear? I've heard this from several big website people, and they were allowed to go into these special rooms occasionally for big press events involving Sony, where you'd basically like have to sign an affidavit, and you'd go in there and you'd actually get to capture PlayStation Vita footage, and these special Vitas with a built-in HDMI out port, and it was very clearly a completed model that they had maybe 100 of, that they never released. And every time I hear about that, I'm like, if you guys had actually mass released that, I think that could have saved the Vita of something to be like, look, like it'd be almost a Switch before the Switch. It'd be like, okay, do you want big RPGs on the go? Do you want to play your freaking PS1 classics on your TV, unplug it and play it on the go? Yeah, we have a thing for that. And for some reason, they never mass released.
Well, the big problem is that they tried to get innovative with the Vita for innovation's sake. I mean, you had the back touch panel, but you can't use that when it's like the PlayStation TV. You can't play most of those games because you can't use touchscreen when it's hooked up. You can't use the back touchscreen when it's hooked up. So things like Uncharted, you can't play on the Vita TV at times because of that. It's weird. Chad says I can play Doom on the bus. Thanks, Switch. You sure can. Doom is great played portable. If you're gonna buy Doom though to play at home only, get it on the PC. But if you want to play it on the portable, I tried it on the GPD Win and the thing pretty much lit on fire, so that's not going to work. Here's one from Lycon saying that the Switch is an interesting case where the software is certainly selling the hardware. Then the idea of hardware actually sells software. That's true because the idea of the thing being a hybrid, and I also got to mention this before we talk about some of the other things. 2017, the amount of marketing being done by celebrities is very impressive compared to what we've seen in the past for Nintendo stuff. Because generally celebrities would not touch Nintendo stuff, but you see, there was this post on Twitter about like the 49ers went and bought it and had a whole thing of them in Target wheeling out like a bunch of Switches. Soccer teams in Europe. What's her name? Christy Teigen posted on Twitter because I think I had like 100,000 likes or something of her playing it instead of watching basketball.
Multiple times she's posted that, so I don't think she's getting paid. I don't think she's getting paid for that one.
No. Yeah, I have no source to back this up, but it seems like they just basically went, okay, we're gonna send 2,000 units out to big, very active social media celebrities, and if there's even a chance they post one tweet of it, we made our money back.
But they didn't do that. They wouldn't do that before because I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't think a lot of them would wanted to take pictures of them playing the Wii U. That's just me personally, but
Well, look at this giant tablet. All right, back the camera up.
Look at this Fisher printout.
I think the only person who said anything on like a high level of what the Wii U was like, Eminem. He's like the only one, and he didn't post a picture of him. And like, I don't think Nintendo wants Eminem posted.
He could have turned the tide though.
Playing that Mario Kart, knees weak, hands are sweaty. I'm about to get that blue shell. My hands are spaghetti.
He talked about he just said, "Hey, I'm playing Smash Brothers. This is amazing," and that's all he said.
So I have to say, we have stuff to talk about for Microsoft because we just talked about the Xbox One X, and we talked about the Switch. But what did Sony do anything to really stand out to you guys in 2017? Because they sold a lot of PS4s. It almost feels like it was compared to the other two because they had these big things going on. It almost feel like they sold a bunch of systems kind of under the radar almost.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that? Like it feel like it's just business as usual for Sony. 20 million PS4s. Yeah, it's cool. It's almost like that.
Business as usual. Just business as usual and just standard PlayStation, you know?
Yeah. Well, because they just did so much. They did so much of listening to fans this year. I'm going back to my reviews. So many of the games they came out with this year were just stuff of like, oh yeah, you want Final Fantasy 12 to come to PS4? Sure, we'll do that. Oh cool, you want Uncharted standalone DLC? Sure, we'll do that. Oh, you want some Yakuza games to come back? All right, here's some Yakuza remasters. Like it just seemed like, oh, Crash Bandicoot. Like so much stuff for PlayStation this year was kind of just being like, oh, you guys want us to do that? All right, we'll put a couple $1 million of it and see what happens. And it's clearly a gamble that's paid off.
The variety was amazing because you have like nerds like me that like RPGs, and there was too many for me to even buy. You know what I'm saying? Like you have stuff like Nier, you have Final Fantasy, you had Persona. There was just a ton. Yeah, you know, and then you also have stuff like you had Neo. There was just such a variety of games. You had like Last Guardian, was that last year or this year? Whatever.
Into last year. But in Horizon, Horizon was one of the fastest selling new IPs of all time, right? It sold like 3 million copies the first month.
Horizon Zero Dawn. There was just a variety. It's just the standard PlayStation. Nothing too crazy. Like none of the games were like, oh my gosh, these are so innovative. This is going to change everything. But there was just so many.
It was solid, right? It was solid. So
it was just solid.
Sony's as well. And I have to say, if we go back to it for 2017, man, I got to give mad props to Persona for essentially really breaking that glass ceiling, I think, and becoming a mainstream JRPG. You know, I mean, they sold over 2 million.
Because the thing is, it's so funny when people talk about mainstream and what it is and what it isn't. I mean, if you have a JRPG and it sells 1.5 million or 2 million, I think that's great. But then you have some people that think that that's not mainstream, you know, because maybe they're comparing it to COD or something, you know?
Yeah, but COD is the game that people will buy once a year and that's it, you know. I think Persona with what it is did well above what a JRPG is designed to do.
Yeah, well, and
that's great. But yeah, I get what you're saying, OJ. People will say it didn't sell 10 million copies. Yeah, it's not mainstream.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like
it's gonna keep selling too, because I mean it hasn't really gotten any discounts yet. When they start putting that thing on sale, which they'll probably do early 2018, love the best of 2017 sale, that thing is gonna move units.
Yeah, it really will. But Sean, what do you think about the PS4 in 2017, man?
I liked it. I would say I didn't get to play it enough, just because of trying to, you know, balance the job and the YouTube channel, and then of course Nintendo Enthusiast, which I still do that too. So I didn't have enough time to play it, and really the one game I played, some of the Yakuza games, the both of those. I had a viewer of the show send me those. The game I played the most on my PS4.
You kept talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, you did keep talking about that game. I saw you posting stuff all the time on it.
I mean, and I'm still playing it to this day. A couple of my friends just got it as well, and we just fuck around and play it at, you know, at like 11, 12 o'clock at night for like an hour or two, just dicking around. I don't know. I guess it's just because I'm such a fan of the movies and the lore of Jason Voorhees and stuff, because the game sucks. Like
it does.
It's not a good game.
You were speaking my language. I am obsessed with that series, yes, and it fits that so well, of just the panic and randomly tripping in the woods and getting to kill a teenager at the last second by strangling her. It's great.
Yeah, like it's to me, it's a perfect example of, you know, kind of like PUBG. Like it's not a good game, but it's fun. You know, you can have fun with it. It's certainly not a 10 out of 10, but it's fun. It's fun, and you know, like so I play that, you know, a good bit. What else? I played Sonic Mania on PS4 just because that's what I got a review copy for. I played Call of Duty World War II because I got a review copy of that. I wasn't too thrilled on that game, but yeah, I just wish I would have had more time with it. I'm gonna make more time for it in 2018 though, because God of War and Spider-Man are definitely two games that I'm gonna want to check out.
Spider-Man, I need that game. I would like to know when it's coming out. That's my biggest problem, because it's about to hit the third E3 that it's been to. We might still not have a release date. Like, that's killing me inside. I was very concerned that they didn't share God of War release date at PSX, by the way. That's not good. Okay, so we had some successes. I think pretty much. See, I want to say Microsoft did well, but it definitely. I think because Nintendo's turnaround, they probably did the best in 2017. Sony, business as usual, released a bunch of solid games. And Microsoft did well with their Xbox One X, but they seem to sacrifice like the whole front, 9 months of their system for that this year, which I don't know if that was worth it to them. And my only reason for that is they still have not reported Xbox One X numbers to us at all. Like, they haven't really.
Microsoft had a horrible year. I don't think it was. I mean, it was okay for sales wise, but I just don't think they had a great year because of Scalebound cancellation. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, that's true. That was this year. Yeah,
Scalebound both canceled. You know, like two big RPGs. You know me, and they just canceled their RPGs. So not a good year for me.
I'm going to say something, and I have to be very vague, but I have a video that's already filmed. It's done. It's going up Monday.
Yes, watch his video, by the way. Everyone here, watch his video.
Let's say that Microsoft is not upset with their sales. They're actually quite surprised, and that they've seen everything accelerating, and they want to keep that momentum going. So I'm sure we can all agree, yes, their first 9 months were a travesty. But for some reason, internally, Microsoft is actually surprised and happy with their current pace at this end of the year. But
no, their sales are great. I don't think anybody can deny that their sales were good over the holiday period. They had good sales. They had steady sales in the beginning of the year. The Xbox One S is cheap. I'm not saying that. I know that. That's why people keep on making stupid videos saying Xbox is dead, and they have their Xbox. And I'm just like,
it's a gravestone.
It's like, I'm like, that's dumb. No, it's not. My issue was, as a gamer, my issue was they canceled everything, or they either delayed or canceled everything. They delayed Crackdown. They canceled their RPGs. And there was really no exclusivity. There was nothing to bring.
They dropped their contract with Matiga and ruined that whole thing for me. It was fantastic.
With Gigantic,
You know, so I mean, it was just that type of as someone who's, I have an Xbox One S. I bought that I forgot when I got it. I got it when it came out. I got it like around the time that it came out. So I've been playing games on it, but it's, I don't know. I just, like I said, I was really upset. I'm a huge Platinum Games fan. So you cancel a Platinum Games title that looks amazing. Yeah, that makes me upset. And I'm also a big Fable fan. I love Fable 1 and 2. Fable 3 sucked. Fable The Journey sucked. Those games sucked horribly, but Fable 1 is amazing, and I like the Lost Chapters and all the other ones and the remake that they did. I played all those, and I was looking forward to the next Fable game, and they canceled that too. So yeah.
All I'm gonna say is you guys need to watch Max's video on Monday. That's all I'll say.
Watch it. 3 p.m. Central Time. I think, John, you are literally the only person in the world who knows its topic. And
yes. Watch it because it might end up in Newswave. You'll see. So, but during the week, not before his video.
Yeah, good.
Upload his video before he does. Like,
No.
Hey guys, bright and early. Let me just cut Max's views in half. There we go.
No, it'll be like a Tuesday thing or something, So, but yes, Max is about to make an interesting video, so you guys want to watch it, definitely. But I like the X. I just think it was very odd for Microsoft to sacrifice the whole front half of their year. Is what I'm thinking. Because everyone was clearly waiting for the X. I think I don't know why you would have bought an S at like 250, 300 when you could technically save for like 4 months leading up to the X and just buy the better version of it. But that was me personally. I'm sure there are plenty of people who bought the S. Sean, you had an S sent to you. I was about to say Sean bought an S. No, he didn't.
I was going to eventually. I made a video after E3 saying that I was going to get an S because I liked the features they were adding. I liked the price point of it that they were doing it at. And yeah, I think the S is a good system. It's a good, kind of, if you're I think it's the perfect casual system, actually. I think
it still supports 4K and HDR.
Right, and you can play your 4K Blu-rays. Yeah. You can play your major AAA third-party games, and it's a good multimedia device. So, in that aspect, it's a very casual system. Has a low entry price point. So, it's kind of weird that Microsoft, the Xbox is now the casual system, and like the Nintendo system is like a more hardcore system.
It is, isn't that weird?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good way of putting it. Is Xbox is a good supplemental kind of chill system. I feel like the people I play with on Xbox are kind of chill. I feel like the PS4 people are all strung and yelling the N-word now. The Xbox people are chill. Times have changed.
Yeah. Well, just go play Call of Duty on any system. They'll
yeah, exactly. Excuse me, N-word. Like, no, thank you. Not Dude, Call of Duty today.
That's how it is. Like, I tried to review Call of Duty, and I was like, oh gosh, I forgot about this. And it's always like, the kids doing it. It's like if you get in a group with adults, it's fine. It's always like,
I don't. That's why I don't play those games, and I don't. And if I do, I don't use a headset.
Well, the worst is if you don't, and it blares through your TV, and you got like your wife or something walking through. What are you playing?
You can disable.
I don't know.
You can disable voice like completely.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But like, if I go to just unplug it on the fly, because I'm like, I'm not talking to these people, and I just unplug it. So, and all of a sudden it's blaring through the TV. Just every customer in the book.
I love the people who have terrible screen names. When I was making my Elder Scrolls Tamriel Unlimited video like 2 years ago, there was this time where I'm recording footage and I fall into this lava and I'm being like killed, and this guy runs up and manages to cast a heal spell and yank me out. I was like, oh, thank you. And his name was Blunts for Life 420. And I was like, thank you, Blunts. And I put that in the video, being like, there's also great moments when I was saved by Blunts for Life 420.
I'm sure you can rely on him.
He's like, blaze it, and just walks off like, yay. The hero we need.
That's great. So we do have to also get into some of the junk that happened in 2017, which mostly includes, I think at this point, the rise of microtransactions in games, or at least microtransactions where they lean on you. EA finally got kind of smacked down by everybody, which is probably a good thing. But what do you guys think? Do you think this is seriously the year of the loot box at this point? I mean, out of nowhere, loot boxes take over, right? I don't remember them in 2016 like this.
No, it's stuff like this. We know that companies talk to each other and they coordinate business strategies. This seemed like one of those times. I hated it. The fact that so many games all at once were kind of like, hey, do you want to get some more orcs for your army? Well, congratulations. For just $5 small, we'll just explode magical orcs all over your face. I hate it.
Yeah, it was bad. EA got called out on it big time, and this is one of the first times, and people will remember this in 2017, one of the first times where fans pushed back this hard against a big company like EA, who probably didn't really need to listen, to be honest. But it got to a point where it was so vocal that they had to cut those microtransactions out, and they still have not added them back, surprisingly.
Well, it wasn't just being vocal. It was actually the action fans took. Because, I mean, you can yell and cry and scream all you want. If they still sold millions of copies of that game, they wouldn't have given a shit. Like, they'd just be fine. But people actually didn't buy it, which was a beautiful thing.
EA had been doing the same business practices in Madden and in FIFA and all.
It's really bad in FIFA.
Yeah, and nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. But then they tried to do it in this type of.
They messed with Star Wars, man.
They messed with the wrong franchise. I mean, they did it. They've done it in Need for Speed. They've done it in almost all of their franchises. Has these stupid loot boxes or microtransactions. Just really like Ultimate Team is unplayable without you. It's competitively, it's unplayable. Like in Madden, unplayable, or in FIFA. If you want to be good at that, or if you want to at least try to put it together, you have to buy the packs, because you're not going to get stuff quick enough. So you might as well not even play that. That's a microtransaction mode completely. And they tried to shift that over. Hey, you got a single player with none of it. But then you get the multiplayer with it, and it backfired. And I'm so happy it did, because EA, EA's just they're a really horrible company. They have great people that work for them, but their management is horrible.
It's kind of interesting. I do honestly think that this is going to go down in the history books as the most successful video game boycott. This is the first time I can remember in all my years where everybody was very vocal and very clear on day one, we're not buying this, and we literally see their projections just.
Do you know one of the big reasons I think this happened differently now than it would have 5 years ago. I honestly think it's because of things like the rise of social media really helped this out. Chad even says, I'm really happy gamers actually did a boycott. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with social media, Facebook, YouTube, everything.
Reddit, top 2 pages of Reddit were literally like, joke of the day is EA's a good company. Top of gaming. Look at all these loot crates. Top of Star Wars. Look at this costume I managed to buy for $750 that I could have given my kid groceries with. Like every single post was literally just ripping on.
You know what blows my mind? That there's a Did You Know Gaming on how
I saw it.
Just like ruined Star Wars. A Did You Know Gaming on how EA ruined Star Wars. And I just find that if Disney doesn't think that a Did You Know Gaming, like, come on now.
Like, hey,
I can't believe that they did that. I looked at it and I had like rubbed my eyes. I was like, are you kidding me?
We're here to be happy and informative. So just go ahead and light up a blunt because we're about to just rip this thing apart.
Man.
So I just saw it and I was like, wow, this was definitely the worst year for EA that I've ever seen. That the fact that Did You Know Gaming actually chimed in on this one. So
see Cardboard in chat, Did you know shaming?
Ryan actually made a good point here. In 2013, we did see a huge backlash for the Xbox One, and that's a good point. But the only difference is that was one of our 3 choices for systems, and some people were very tied to the Xbox. If you go online, there are fans of every system, but there are people who are really tied to that, man. And when it came out like that it was super anti-consumer, I think that really hurt a lot of people. And it didn't help that Sony was so blatant about twisting the knife about that whole situation that they had to. Not only that, but the person who was trying to do it, I wish I could remember his name, the guy before Phil Spencer, pretty much took off.
Don Matrick.
He took off. He was out of there.
Zynga or something.
Yeah, Zynga.
Phil Spencer was left to pick up the pieces, which I think he's actually done a better job than a lot of people give him credit for what he was left with. I
was reading a weird thing about Don Matrick. Apparently, like, everybody in Xbox knew that guy was going to blow it eventually. Apparently, Don Matrick purposely lived like 100 miles away from work and had a giant, like, basically a sports car Lamborghini with like $1 million under the hood. And he would basically just drive like there to 100 miles an hour. Like, he was just such a weirdo of like I'm going to spend millions of dollars. I had like 16 cars in this giant mansion. Like, he ran Xbox like his personal playhouse. So eventually they're like, this guy's going to on camera and be a jerk. And then he was on camera and he was a jerk.
So let me very quickly. We have a few minutes here, and then we got to jump to the questions that I assume Evan's been collecting in Discord and whatnot. Did you guys see? Platinum Games talk about how they want to do something that like Ninja Theory did, where they do a self-published AA type game that's like a 20-man team. And
I made a video on it. I made a video on it. Definitely, absolutely, really excited about that. A lot of people don't know that Platinum Games is an independent developer. They're just like a high bounty. They collect bounties. I call them the Akatsuki.
They were originally going to build Scalebound.
Yeah, I mean they're an independent developer, and a lot of people think of them as like a major third party, and they're not. They're just a really big indie in Japan, and it's going to be exciting that they actually get to build their own game. You know what I'm saying? Not like, oh, we're paying, like you get to use our IP. Like, they've been wanting to build their own IP for 2 to 3 years now, and they're finally in a position to do so. So I'm really excited for them.
Robert Erickson dropped the last 20 sexton. 4:44 a.m. there, and you're going to sleep. Wow, man, that's some dedication. Actually, being up. Yeah, I know, right? Thanks for staying up with us. Then it's actually 10:45 p.m. here. But thanks for staying up with us. Yeah, I'm excited. Actually, I prefer the lower budget type games because they can do things like take more liberties, you know, with everything. They don't have that publisher behind them like an EA saying, how are we going to make more money on this at the tail end where the loot boxes, things like that, you know. I think Ninja Theory did a great job with Hellblade. I think it shows because the community pretty much backed them. They ended up they're making money on it now. So anything they sell now, they've made money. I just like that. I actually think that is the future because as we get into digital distribution, you don't really need a publisher that much anymore, because you're not putting stuff on the wall anymore. You're not printing and pressing discs and cover art in boxes or anything.
Most sales are from independent developer indies. You know, most games that come out are indie games. Like the sheer amount of games is most of it is indie. Or most of it is smaller scale. So
you barely have to buy any like commercials anymore. You can go to a YouTuber and say, I have 100 keys. I'm going to give a key to each YouTuber and let them, you know, show it off. We're going to build a following on Twitter. We'll let you know when it happens, you know, when this game comes out. I think it's just too easy now with how online social media and YouTube and everything's taken off. It's too easy to market it yourself now. Why would you pay a publisher to do all that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that I follow the developers of Friday the 13th on Twitter, and they talk about the fact that they're like, man, Friday the 13th didn't sell because it's based on a great slasher movie. It sold because streamers were playing that thing nonstop and screaming and having fun. And then every YouTuber was doing like 25-part Let's Plays. It's like, you don't need a commercial that says get cut today. No, just give it to streamers.
I mean, PUBG.
Yeah.
PUBG is what it is.
I mean,
these guys know this too. You know, these developers know this, so you're seeing it quite a bit.
I was gonna say, developers with the indie stuff, they're pretty free with some of those keys sometimes, so they'll just throw them around. So
I'm flooded with them, way more than I could ever actually cover.
And then, but let's, Sean, you're okay with the AA game?
About
what? like the lower budget AA style games? Would you prefer those, or do you? I mean, maybe do you like the bigger? Okay, I didn't know if you really just so like the bigger.
I love middleware games.
Okay,
that's a term I use over on my channel. We'll call them, because middleware games used to be so prevalent. Like there used to be so many in the PS2, PS3. Like there were so many games that, you know, it was obvious they didn't have a huge AAA budget.
Yeah, they were like $20 or $30 instead of the $50 tag.
Right. You know, games like one of my favorite middleware games is a game called Second Sight.
I remember that game. Yeah,
I have that right there.
That game is so good. Like I love that game. It's a perfect middleware game. You know, it doesn't have all the polish of a AAA game, but it's still very good. It's still very solid. It looks good. It plays good. So yeah, I'm excited. And you could take more risks with those middleware games as well. As far as, you know, what style of game it is and whatnot, because you don't have to worry, you don't have to worry about having the best looking graphics or anything like that. You can just, you can have fun. You could take a chance and, maybe it'll catch on and whatnot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. And then let's move into the last thing. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this very quickly before we go into any questions. What do you guys think we're going to get this word back from Nintendo on January 31st. What do you guys think the sales that they're going to report are? That's going to end tomorrow, actually, is where the reporting will end. So that's going to be the first 10 months of the system being out. Last we heard, beginning of December, more than likely where they cut it off there, they had sold through 10 million units. The Wii U's lifetime sales are 13.56, I think, million. Where do you guys think they're going to finish for 2017? And what do you think they're going to report to us at the end of January?
Over that.
I have a, for example, I have a prediction that I put out of 13.86 million is what I think they're going to report for units. But do you guys have any thoughts or predictions on that before we move into questions?
I don't have any specific numbers. I'm the fact that it's probably going to sell 15 million within its first fiscal year or its first calendar year is just, man, like I'm not even too worried about the nitty gritty. I just have to the masters have returned, Yeah.
Okay. What about you, OJ?
About 14.
You got 14. Okay, 14. That's good too. Yeah, that's actually right. Yeah, 13.86. Yeah, it's about right. Yeah, it's about right. I went like super specific because I did a video where everyone can guess, and I'll probably have to give some kind of prize away to whoever gets it right, just for fun. But yeah, see, everyone's now guessing in the comments like I had it set up. 13. I see 14. I think the highest I saw somebody guess was 17. I think is what I've seen so far.
13 is very safe. Like if you said 13, somewhere anywhere between 13 and 14. 14 is a little bit on the higher side, but anywhere in between 13, because you can already just guess. Like you could just put minimums. Like it's already sold 1 million in Japan for December. They reported it was at 10 million. So if you just say, okay, it sold 1 million, that's 11. Okay, Europe is about 1 million, and then the US about 1 million, and then maybe the US is a 1.5. You're at 13.5. So it's a safe.
The thing that's going to be tough though is they're going to report shipped numbers by December. So anything that's shipped from this week that's not necessarily sold would still be included in that. So that's where it's tough.
Then it's going to be higher than 13 in my opinion.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah, it could if it's all because that's what they're going to report as ship numbers. They won't report sold through.
Oh yeah, then are you asking for ship numbers or are you asking for sell through numbers?
What they're gonna report, which is going to be probably shipped because they don't really do sell through numbers.
They're reporting. I didn't know they're going to report ship. Oh, okay, if they're going to report ship, then
yeah, they always report ship numbers generally because that's what they can account for until like a month later when they can get sell through numbers.
Oh, then I'm going to go higher than that. Then I'm going to say they're going to report like 15 or 16.
Okay. Yeah,
15 or so. If it's shipped, I guess.
I think it's pretty clear. I think that they passed the Wii U in 10 months. So there you go. Just tell you all I need to know. They figured it out. So, Evan, questions. What do we got?
Let me see if I can decipher some of these. What games do you believe will sell 20 million Switch units for 2018 if Pokemon does not come out this year?
If Pokemon doesn't come out, I think OJ said it on Twitter, Smash. Smash Bros will help it get there.
Smash, Animal Crossing, Yokai Watch, games like that.
I will tell you this: if Pokemon doesn't come out in 2018, then Metroid's coming out in 2018. I'm pretty much set on this that one of the two is coming out in 2018.
Fire Emblem too, as well. Fire Emblem as well.
Fire Emblem will help, yeah. But like those two are mass appeal. Metroid is a little lower, but Pokemon, man, if you get Pokemon out in 2018, you're not going to be able to make enough Switches.
My thing is, I'm going to keep playing this gong. If they get the earlier they get out Virtual Console, the faster their sales are going to be. Telling people, hey, it's the best of the old with the best of the new, because I feel like so many people that are buying Switches right now are gamers already, or people who are wanting to get back into gaming. I feel like saying, hey, 16-bit Mario and Final Fantasy III are going to be on this device. You can start to get more casual audiences on board as well, which is a strong demographic that pays money.
Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody else said, I should have said this too. GTA 5, if that gets announced in like the January presser and it shows up in 2018, as crazy as it sounds, that game people would double dip for portable GTA 5.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's coming.
I agree.
Yeah, I know. It is coming.
GTA 5 is the most interesting one because people will complain about ports, but nobody complained about a 2-year-old port of GTA 5 on the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly. People wanted a better running one anyway because it didn't run that well on the 360 or the PS3.
But it sold like crazy. You know but it sold like crazy and people didn't. I mean, people still played it. They loved it. Still got all the great reviews. So GTA is always in a completely different one. So I agree. If GTA did come, people would be like, a portable GTA. Yeah, I want that.
I'm gonna have to go buy that Switch. Yep, that's what's gonna happen.
I bought GTA 5 4 times now, honestly. And if it comes out on Switch, I'm gonna be buying it a 5th time.
Yeah, I'll buy it too if it comes on the Switch.
Here's the thing, though. Like Kimishima, like y'all got to take what that dude says seriously. Like he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna sell like 10 million Switches the first year," and everyone was like, "Oh, come on, you!" And then boom, it happens. Like, yeah, we're gonna have good third-party support. Come on!
I'll tell you why. That looking at that guy, he's not someone you want to take bad news to.
Yeah, that guy has never smiled without a Patriot being involved.
I mean, I love Iwata. God rest his soul. But the fact this was the perfect successor. There's some dude who's just like, fuck this. We sell systems now. I want GTA. Give me everything.
Sir, the original reports are 9 million. He just hands him a knife. Like, what do I do with this? Oh, you give me a pinky for every amount under what I predicted. Like,
I feel like he just has like a whole set of like coffee mugs next to his desk, and he just smashes them whenever someone comes in with bad news. Yeah. Just gets another one.
While making direct eye contact.
Like seriously, he seems like the guy I'd be scared to walk into his.
He reminds me of like someone that like do like what Joker did, like in the Dark Knight, like the pencil thing, and just slams their head on don't do that.
Yeah,
so it makes a pencil or pen disappear by slamming someone's head. It's like what happened to Takahashi? It's like, who cares what happened to Takahashi? Yeah. Like, don't ask about it. What happened to Takahashi?
I can just see him like texting like developers and like third-party company presidents, like, "Where's my game, bitch?" And it just sends it. Like, "Sorry, sir, working on it, sir."
He goes, "You're working on it, but I'm not playing it. And when I'm not playing, I'm unhappy, and you won't like me when I'm unhappy."
He made some kind of when he first took over, didn't he make some kind of reference towards he didn't really like the Wii U that much?
He did.
Yeah, didn't he? He talked about that, right?
didn't feel like he said that somebody in the room said that, oh, well, because of the name, it's going to sell 100 million. And then he looked at that person. He wanted to like smack that guy. But
see, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying? Like he looked at the guy like, that's not going to happen. Like he expressed doubts over.
He probably remembers that guy's face too. He was the first one to go.
Yeah, that guy, he's like, I'm in charge. You're fired. Yes.
Yeah, that guy doesn't work at Nintendo anymore. No, but he just expressed doubt. He didn't think that the Wii U concept, as far as what they were going for, was going to work very well, and he was right. So.
Warrior Men says, "What titles, first and third party, are we likely to see in the January Direct?" I believe it or not, I think GTA 5 will be there. I know it sounds crazy. I think it'll be there.
No, I agree.
Personally, that's just me, throwing a guess out there. I think they want that there sooner than later. Go ahead, OJ. You wanted to say something?
No, just real quick because I know time. But like, do you think that maybe the whole rumor about the whole, which is a rumor, people aren't reporting it that way, but the whole 64 gigabyte cartridges thing, do you think that was maybe Take-Two that was upset about that? If the rumor was true,
I think Take-Two. I think Take-Two was upset to a degree. I think it was more Rockstar than anyone else. But Take-Two, I don't think they want to. It's weird because they're also the same people who are making us download NBA data rather than slap it on a 32 gig cart, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like GTA 5 is a different animal because they know it's going to be a long tail game. Like they'll get their shark cards and everything, right? They'll make a lot of money. So to them, I think they are one of the people who wanted that 64 gig card like yesterday because they want GTA 5 on as many systems as they can get them on because that game will not stop selling. It was in the top 5 for the UK charts during Christmas time. Like this past week. Are you kidding me?
It's still in the top 20 MPE. Like it never leaves the top 20. So
they want 100 million of those sold, and the Switch is like the easy fast track to that because they will sell 15 20 million when it's all said and done on the Switch without too much issue, I think. But they need that 64 gig card. I just don't think they'll be able to show up and say, we're going to put on a 16 gig card. Now you guys have to download 32, 34 gigabytes of data.
Yeah, 32. Like, that's the thing. If you look at GTA 5, and I'm not saying it's going to be, on the same graphical level of the PS3 version or anything like that, but using the PS3 version as a guide, the PS3 version was 17 gigs. You could fit.
But I think they'd rather use the PS4 version because it should. I mean, they'll change some stuff around, but because the older version, the older version was set up for like Power PC and everything, whereas ARM would scale better with something from the PS4.
And the PS3 version did not have GTA Online on the disc. You had to install that later, and that was a huge part of it. That's what pushed it up to almost double the size.
So here's what would be a good strategy for them to do, and I thought about this: if they can't get a hold of 64 gig, let us get the single player on the cart like we did with Doom, and then we'll download online.
Thank you. That's what all these companies should be doing. Quit bitching about cartridge sizes and do that because it makes the most sense. If you want to be cheap and you want to skimp out on it, fine. Put the whole single player on the cartridge, put the multiplayer as a download, so that way you can always play the single player and not have to worry about the multiplayer. If you get this cartridge in 10 years from now or something, and the servers
I wouldn't even play the multiplayer for GTA, to be honest. I just want to play the single player.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do size with that. Really,
I have to get this question in. We come back to this before his little the little super chat thing disappears. Axel Stone says, "Do you think Smash Bros will be announced in the January Direct? And what do you think they should add to the Wii U plus DLC package?" I assume Axel's assuming that this would be the regular Smash Bros that was on the Wii U version. I actually think it's gonna be a new Smash Bros. It sounds crazy. I don't think it's gonna be the port.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna announce it in January, and I think that it's going to. If they did bring it, I think it's gonna be such a deluxe version that it's gonna be almost new, but it's gonna be like a super, super, super deluxe version.
I think they'll show it at E3, to be honest. Yeah.
Because
I think that's the E3 game.
Well, the problem with Smash Brothers is the way that it's made. You know what I'm saying? Sakurai kills himself every single time. And
he does. He complains about it a lot.
And I don't see Sakurai killing himself again for this. For how many years? I think they're going to take the engine that they have and make it a super deluxe version, as in multiple new characters, stages, all that.
It's going to be like, a lot of people complain about this, but what Splatoon 2 did, where it's like, it's Splatoon 1 again. It's got new weapons, a little bit of stuff, a couple tweaks, but it's just Splatoon 1 again. Just more.
Will said, would love to see Ni no Kuni port. Absolutely. I would like to actually see that on a portable system in general. The Switch is like the last one left, really. Fallout 4 and a new Mario Maker. Mario Maker has to be on the Switch next year. I cannot believe it's not there yet.
I think it's coming. I think Mario Maker's definitely coming.
You can just port it. It doesn't even have to be new. Just bring it over. Like
Well,
oh my god.
There's a rumor that was the first game that they ported over. Like when they were the internal porting team, the first game they did just to try and test everything out was Mario Maker. So it's weird that we still have no real news on that. Like the rumors that it's been done for like
I think I think they're going to bring it over. I think just really wanted to make Super Mario Odyssey. You know, that was the Mario game.
I loved that game. Man, I loved Mario Maker. Gosh, I love that game.
And then they brought that game. I remember everyone trashed the 3DS version, and the 3DS version sold amazingly well.
I think it was like didn't it have some issue with like online or something? Like it didn't share the levels or anything.
Sean is the reason I didn't buy it. I was like, he put up a review. Literally, I was about to walk to the store and buy it, and then I saw Sean post a review, and I watched it, and he's like, "You ready for this?" I was like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
But
you can't post levels, right? Like, couldn't share them.
Oh, you couldn't download levels like you could on the Wii U version.
Yeah, you can download on the internet. You can share, like locally share.
That just ruined the game for me because the whole I'm not a creator in that sort of aspect. Like I would buy, like back in the day on the PS1, I would buy RPG Maker and Fighter Maker and be like, I'm going to make the fucking coolest RPG and the coolest fighting game ever. And I would.
You didn't get past the first screen.
No, I didn't. I remember with Fighter Maker, all I did was make the character's leg go in a complete circle, and I was like, I can't stop. What is going on?
Were you just like $30 well spent, and your guy's just like kicking his leg around?
I tried to be creative with Little Big Planet, and it didn't work out. And that's when I realized that I'm never going to be one of those people that creates levels. I mean, I tried in Tony Hawk, all my levels sucked. I tried in other
Tony Hawk 2, man.
I did a lot in Tony Hawk.
But I sucked. I mean, I played other people's. Tony Hawk 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I'll bop anybody in Tony Hawk 2.
How is there not like a Tony Hawk Maker type game? Like I would like just bring back the third one, those physics and everything, and just let us share levels.
Dude, I'd rather have you like board in real life and move around like that.
Isn't he working on like Skate 4 or something right now? We assume.
I have no idea. I've heard that they're making that.
But he's working on something.
I just want to say, PlayerEssence, if you and I ever end up in the same room next to a capture card, I seriously challenge you to some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I'm the master of that.
I am going to pick Rodney Mullen, and I'm going to bop you. That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to pick Rodney Mullen.
I'm going to be Bob Burnquist, and I'm going to do chains across the entire level.
And I'm going to be dark sliding across the hangar the whole time and just rack it up.
Yeah, doing the trick where you just keep resetting it to like, get the perfect grind. Yeah.
Can I just turn on like perfect manuals and just leave it on like that? Like, no way. It doesn't just stay on forever.
The moon gravity code where you could literally like do tricks through the ceiling.
That's cheating.
I love that. I love that game. Was so good.
Dude, I put so many hours. The first review I ever wrote in my life was in 2007, and it was on GameFAQs, and it was actually about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. And I said, even though the frame rate is a rough 20 frames per second, each frame really counts in a trick.
I didn't even notice. Like
going back and playing it now, it definitely is a slideshow. There's like I am in the middle of a trick.
Did you get it on the PC? The Tony Hawk HD, it's not very good, but
I got that. Yeah, I got that. It was terrible. By Robomoto.
Yeah, a talkie teacher said, "Hi all. What do you think are the Switch's lifetime to date sales as of today? The 15 million rumor seems too high." And then he says, "Sub to PlayerEssence, everyone."
That's a good fan.
Ataki's a mod on my channel. He's also he's a Patreon and he's a sponsor as well.
Cool.
So thank you, Ataki. I appreciate it.
Good man.
I think we kind of talked about that. I mean, I actually was talking a little bit about ship numbers though with mine. When I said 13.86, I guess I'd have to go a little lower though if I went like actual sales. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe with my prediction, it's right at the Wii U. So I still say it's gonna be above. So I'm gonna go with like 13.6 if I had to take a sell through amount. I don't know. What do you guys think though? If you had to give like a sell-through amount for now, like like today, as of 11 p.m. Eastern time,
I'll say 13,075,000.
Okay, I'll say 14.
14. All right, very good.
Right about where you guys are at. 13 something sell-through. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got that, and then Jib says, do you think EA will port or bring a new Need for Speed to the Switch? Need for Speed is in the biggest damage control mode they could ever be in, because that game, that franchise has fallen so far. I used to play, let me tell you, I used to play Underground 2 religiously back in the day. I love that game, and to see where that franchise has gone now makes me seriously almost physically ill.
Shake my damn head, man. That game is a mess. That franchise is a mess. I'd rather have them pour Burnout. If they're gonna do something, Burnout Paradise. I can bring over.
We heard those rumors for that. Yeah.
But like today's Need for Speed is horrible. You don't want to pay for that.
I put it on my worst games of 2017 list. No joke.
Yeah, I'm so sad. If they ever announce Need for Speed Underground 3, that would be really cool. I would actually check that out.
Oh, heck yeah. So. Especially if it still has those weird drifting competition where the freaking streets become butter. I love it.
But like EA, you don't need those loot boxes in every single game. You've already won over the crowd with FIFA and you make obscene amounts of money. Just make a game like Need for Speed, sell 10 million and go home happy. I don't know. You can even sell DLC on top of it, and dumb people like me would buy upgraded cars and stuff.
They can make a remake
cars and
a collection. How about like a pack, like a Need for Speed old school collection? Just remaster the graphics, put it out there. I guarantee they'll do better than any of the stupidity that they're doing.
I would buy Underground 2 again if they redid it.
Same, 100% right this second. If it was called like Drifter's Return, I'd literally like, yep, it's just Underground 2, fine. Like, do you remember whenever you got a bunch of upgrades at the end of every competition, you got to take a picture of your car for a magazine? And see, there was like a button where you could actually make steam come out of your hood and stuff. So cheap. I love that.
I like the second one more. Someone said the first. I like the second one more because you actually had like an open world.
Yeah. Driving between races was cool to me because you actually got to listen to a full song.
Yeah, right. And then I really liked the drag racing. The drag racing was fun.
And that was like at the height of the popularity of like the Need for Speed. I mean, the Need for Speed films or not Need for Speed, but like the Fast and the Furious. Yeah. You know, like that was kind of like when that was really starting to get going, so.
There was a time when I literally was drifting. My friend, we talked my teacher to let me bring an Xbox into class because we got all straight A's. And we were playing Need for Speed Underground on the Xbox. And I remember actually doing the perfect shift and being like, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. All that matters is winning. Because I'm doing all these perfect shifts.
Evan, do you want to hit us with one more question before we get out of here?
Ocean of questions over here. All right.
I'm getting. Do you have a bunch of questions? We can rifle through them if you want, just to make everyone happy.
I will send you all of them because holy God.
Are they in the Discord? Hold on, I'm going to attempt to use Discord.
Oh God, this is it.
And my computer's off.
Show you this. Now just go to the SpawnCast questions channel.
Okay. Oh, here it is. I see it.
And it's everything below what Sean Sweeney just said up at the top.
Wow, we're popular. Yeah. Dark Souls 1 remaster, is that happening? I don't think so. I still don't understand why so many people want Dark Souls 1 remaster. Is it because they're going to move on from Dark Souls completely now that they did the third one?
Probably. I don't know.
It's just it's nostalgia.
I mean, I know the controls weren't the best. I know it wasn't their best version of Dark Souls, and people just want it, I guess, upgraded. But I don't know. Is 3
down further? That was from like a while ago.
Oh, that was from a while ago.
Yeah, go to the December 30th ones.
Here we go. I see him. Okay.
VR head.
We did that one. Okay, we did that one. Yep. Okay. When do you think we'll see that VR Switch headset? I can tell you now, after using the PlayStation VR headset, I have a hard time with the PlayStation VR headset because it's not high enough resolution, just to be completely honest. They cut that 1920 by 1080 image in half further, and it's not very good. I mean, it works, but it's like frame rate wise, it's fine, but like it just looks blurry. So I don't know if they would attack the VR stuff yet unless they have an entire headset and an entire box independent of the Switch, and the Switch kind of operates off of it through like a USB-C port. I don't know how much. I mean, they're doing something with hardware because they told if you read through their investor stuff, they're doing something with hardware, and I can't figure out what it is. I don't think it's another 3DS, like another edition or a new 3DS or 2DS XL. But they're doing something with their money into hardware.
I'm still saying they're going to make a Switch that doesn't have a freaking dock. I'm going to die on that hill.
I feel like it might have something to do with a Switch you can buy without the dock that might be a little smaller.
Yeah, I'm thinking Switch Mini. I'm dying on that.
But they could also go the other way. It could be like a bigger Switch, right, with a better battery and all this stuff. They could do something like that. They're working on something. It's either an add-on. They're spending a lot of money on hardware right now.
The Switch fat, and I'd still buy it.
And generally, you don't see that after a company brings out a brand new system. So I don't know what they're working on. I need to figure it out, though. I've talked to Dave a little bit about that, just because he went through it too. And I was reading through they send out a big packet. Anyone can go read it for their investors. They talk heavily about hardware R&D that they're still investing in. They cashed in, I think, some bonds for it. So it's very interesting. I'm trying to figure out what it is, but I think it's either an add-on, a peripheral, or another version of the Switch, like a using the same hardware, probably like you said, Max, a Switch Mini or something. Because honestly, if they could sell it without the dock and just have like something you can buy just if you break your Switch or something, I guess, I don't know, or just some people just don't want to play it on the TV. There's a lot of people. I mean, they put that survey out and it was like 50-50, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, so there's a friend of mine who's a big cosplayer. She like cosplays all sorts of crazy outfits, and she only has ever played her Switch in portable mode. She has never played it in dock mode. She plays a lot of Splatoon and stuff like that, and she plays a little bit. She's never played it in dock mode. So I know those people exist.
Well, I don't know if a lot of people would want to buy into VR for the Switch right now. So I honestly, Sony's having a hard time moving them. So
yeah, they pushed real hard this year to try to get us to want it. No one does.
They got 2 million of them out of their 70 million install base. I don't know.
That's almost 0.5%.
Yeah. Do you guys think 2018 can possibly match how great 2017 was for games/gamers? 2017 was good. We just named a bunch. I mean, you see the Game of the Year nominees with Horizon, Zelda, Persona. I don't know, man. 2017 was good. I mean, a new Mario, big ones came out alongside of Horizon, a new Persona game. That's gonna be so tough.
I think it depends on how great God of War turns out to be. It turns out it's going to be about how much experimental games like Horizon or like Detroit Become Human. So right now it's hard to say, but I think 2018 could be memorable, but in a totally different way.
Okay,
we got things mostly.
We got 2 more very quick ones. Do you think at this point Steep should just be announced as canceled, or is it still worth it to release? If they're going to release it, they better at least package the DLC with it at this point, because they announced it forever ago, and they haven't said anything else.
You can release it whenever. Just release the game. If it's being worked on and they want to release it, then just release it. It's to not release it. If they want to release it, let them release it. If it flops, then it flops. If it doesn't, then it doesn't.
It's worrying what's going on with it, though. I hope it does come out, because that game's actually kind of fun. I've played it on my PC and everything. It's fun, but it's not like a world beater or anything. So it probably, honestly, at this point, because it's older, it probably won't do super well. So don't expect like massive sales from it, but we'll see what happens with that game. Okay, here we go. Here's an easy one to close on. If Bayonetta 3 comes out in 2018, when do you think it'll be? I guess month, date, whatever.
I don't think it'll be 20. It might be
October 2018. Almost said 17.
I would say October, Halloweenish type of area.
Oh yeah. Well, and also that's such a smart window. Like if you want to sell a game that's a little bit weirder, you definitely got to throw it out in October, November.
I can't put it in November because that's when I think Pokemon's coming out.
It's not coming. It's not going to be in November. no way. It's not going to be November.
That's why I think Pokemon's coming out. So I don't think it's going to be November.
I thought Pokemon's came out in September. I thought they were like late summer games.
I thought Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon just came out in November, didn't it?
I don't know. I could be talking. I'm not a Pokemon.
So sometimes they've been earlier in the year. Sometimes they've been later in the year. Pokemon Company just kind of release when they feel like.
Well, I think that'll be Nintendo's big release. So I think I don't think they want it out too early. So I have that reserved for November. I think Bayonetta would show up maybe in December.
January Direct announces Pokemon releasing in February. We're just like, what?
That Pokemon game you guys want? Yeah, it's out tomorrow. So
that would cause deaths of people trampling each other, driving into stuff, like freaking out.
The Pokemon Go Stampedes times 10.
It's just the Pokemon Go version of, or it's just the Pokemon version of the Purge, just like all in one night.
so many Poke nerds all just like seriously just hear yells and screams. And I like Pokemon when I say that. I don't mean that to disrespect anybody else.
I do think Pokemon will be out this year. I do. I think they're going to get that out. I think it has to be that or Metro, and I don't think Metro will be done in time. So, but yeah, if they have both, that'd be insane. Now, however, I was saying I don't think they'll ever release a Mario and Zelda game like that. Bam, bam. In the same year, first year. So who knows? At this point, they could do it. I guess that's it, guys. We're all done here. Yes, another Beautiful Joe would be awesome. I guess we're done here for tonight. That's episode 39, right, Evan? The SpawnCast?
Yep.
Very good. You guys want to, I guess we can get out of here. Sean, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at RGT85. You can see me a lot more coming up in a couple months because I'll be doing this all full time. Yeah,
joining the full time club. Now you're, dude. Actually, everyone, yeah. Max and OJ are both full time also. So you're joining the full time club.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be pretty crazy. But yeah, check me out there. RGT85. I'll say hi in the chat. And thanks for having me on as always.
And then OJ, where can they find you, man?
Just PlayerEssence, just run on YouTube and on Twitter. Yeah, basically I do about 3 to 4 videos covering all the Japanese news, covering all of the RPG news. So PlayStation, Xbox, if they ever get any RPGs. I'll talk about Lost Odyssey and old school stuff.
Did you just say Xbox and RPG in the same sentence?
I got like the one game there. Like,
yeah, there was a hard comma between those words.
Yeah, bring back Lost Odyssey, man. Come on, put on.
If they ever like, you'll hear me complaining about every at least 3 or 4 months. I'll complain about Lost Odyssey not being here. Yeah. So if you're into those type of games, if you're into that, if you want to be knowledgeable on all of the Japanese industry news and insights and stuff like that, check out my channel.
Cool. Yeah, check them out. Check them out. Check them out. And then we have Max. Where can they find you, man?
I'm youtube.com/Dreamcast guy. I have a very special video set for Monday, obviously, that I can't go too deep into, but
it's spicy. I'm gonna tell you that now. I know the topic.
And it is some
don't give too much away. Yeah.
Yeah, it is some insider information that I haven't really seen anybody else talk about, but I've got something interesting, so I kind of just want to dissect it and talk about my thoughts about it. And then Top 10 Thursday this week is something people have asked me to do a lot, which is I'm going to talk about the game series everybody seems to love but me. So you can finally hear me really get shit on in the comments for not liking God of War.
There you go. Nice. And then Evan, anything going on over there?
I'll just drop in chat all that stuff. Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. Mostly I'll be helping out and trying to push forward with the Spawn Wave channel, although my retail job, the holiday's over, so I'll be able to start putting maybe a little bit more effort into my own channels as well. We'll see how that.
And then you do have a monitor review coming up, don't you?
Yep, the monitor review for Spawn Wave should be. I'm thinking it's going to be Monday because I'm going to voice it over tomorrow, and because he said we had a bunch of videos anyway for Sunday.
It was a very nice looking display when you brought it over and we did some B-roll for it. It's edge to edge, and it's a 1080p HDR full HDR monitor. So
yeah, it's with a ton of interesting functions that I don't see on normal monitors anyway.
It's actually more of a budget price. Like, I don't see a lot of monitors HDR. This one's less than less than 280?
But I think it was 260 on average right now from PlayStation.
Full HDR, 27-inch, I think. It's good look. Very nice looking monitor. Full metal stand and everything. So, all right, guys, I guess that's going to wrap it up for us on the SpawnCast. Went a little later, but that's the way it goes sometimes. We had a lot of stuff happening.
We had so much crime to get through.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch Forensic Files right now, actually, after I'm done with this. So,
guys, have a good night tonight. I'll have some stuff out tomorrow for you. We'll look at some different things. It'll be fun. But, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good New Year, and we'll see you guys next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye.